Okay, I'm going to call to order the March 2nd, 2016 regular meeting of the Township of Lopatcong Township Council. The first order of business would be to come out of executive session, which we did already, but we'll do it again for your purposes. Come out.
He wants to do the motion again.
Yeah, we usually do it at this point, that's fine.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we go to a moment of silence and prayer. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do roll call. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Oh, okay, you're right. Adequate notice of this meeting is provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcaro.
Here.
Councilwoman McKay. Here. Councilwoman Schneider.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor McKay.
Here. Please do.
Thank you. Council was in executive session for approximately 30 minutes this evening. The topics of discussion are listed on your agenda, but I will read them for the record because there was one addition in addition to the 5 listed. So, number 1, personnel, clerk's office, tax collector's office. Number 2, personnel, finance department. Number 3, personnel, keyboarding clerk 1. Number 4, contractual Berry Plastics developers agreement. Number 5, personnel, COA administrator, liaison, treasurer. And added to that list, number 6, LAA wrestling program contractual. The minutes from executive session will be available at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
You're welcome. Now, just so we don't lose track of it, can we just do those items first?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why don't we do those items first? Do you want to read them? Or I'll read them, I mean, but whatever you think is best.
Well, not all of them require action.
No.
I could do mine first if you like. The LAA. I'd like to make the motion to authorize action by our attorney and auditor in review of a situation regarding the LAA wrestling program. I'll need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll need a second. Thank you.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcaro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. I get this. The next item would be discussion concerning, or not discussion. I'm not sure how to phrase some of these. The Berry Plastics, is being given to Paul to follow up on. Is that the correct?
I think council is going to conditionally approve the agreement
Yeah.
upon an indemnification agreement regarding the sewer permitting.
That is correct.
And there is an agenda item for that.
So that we don't have to cover it up here.
Yeah, we don't have to cover it
So we
now.
don't cover it. All right. Next item is to that the Finance Committee will undertake review of the personnel matter in the Finance Department. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that? No, I don't think so. The next item is the personnel item concerning keyboarding clerk, and that there's been a hiring there, and that the hiring needs to be approved. Is that correct? All right. So we'll take a motion to approve that hiring.
Motion.
I'll take a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I do. I just, for future hires, in this particular case, council was not given copies of any of the resumes, nor did we participate in any of the interview process.
since I've been here, I think they have been, we have been, and or at least to get the resumes, which I've received for the offices that we have hired for. I'd like to, in the future, be part of those processes because it would be nice to be part of the interviews when I have to say yes to spending the money. So in the future, I would like everyone here to be part of that process.
Just to state that was only done in this past year, the council was involved. Typically, prior to that, the department heads were capable and took care of the interviewing for the employees that they needed in their department. Council did not need to take part in the interview process. So I really don't know that we need to be taking on interviews in departments that maybe the department head is the one who knows what they're looking for. They understand what type of experience is needed. I really don't think we need to be involved to that extent. Once the person is chosen, obviously, then we have to authorize the hiring. But beyond that, I don't think we should be involved.
Okay, now, well, there's two pieces to do. First, we have to do the vote on the hire. So let's do the vote on the hire.
Okay. Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McFetrich?
Yes. Now, as to the second part of the things that Maureen and Donna was speaking about, that's a policy matter. And so if the council would now like to make that policy, either way, I mean, if somebody wants to, set forth what the policy should be, and then we could vote on it, and then we have a policy going forward, so everything's not one-off. So I prefer to do that, we come up with a policy on the matter. I don't care which way it goes. It has merit either way.
Perhaps you want to move that to the next meeting, just because that way sounds like you have two ideas, maybe you can both bring
Okay,
them to the...
we will do that at the next
Since you're not
meeting.
hiring anyone between now and the next meeting.
Yep.
Since this is a very long list. Move us along.
All right, do we need to cover the co or administrator liaison treasurer matter?
No, but number one.
I can, do you want me to list them
Yeah.
all?
Go on.
Okay. We are asking for compensation for our deputy, for Phyllis, deputy clerk, to receive compensation for last year. She put in 39.75 hours when we needed some help in the CFO's office. And at the time, we had no budget, and we would like to compensate her at her regular rate for 39.75 hours.
And also, we're going
And do you want to do them all at one time? Okay. We also had our tax collector and Phyllis also help in the CFO office for the months of February and partial for March until we have our full-time person come in. And we need to authorize payment to Phyllis for 73 hours. That was 61 hours in February and so far 12 in March. And we'd also like to continue to have Phyllis help out and train the new employee until the end of March. We were hoping to get that done by March 18th, but it may run past that, so we want to give that authorization to allow a little bit of more help in there. We'd also like to compensate Rachel for the month of February. She had 5 hours, and she needs to be compensated for that, and also to extend the same courtesy to her to train the new employee for payroll and keep her on as needed until the end of March.
Okay, there it is. So motion to approve that?
I understood all. I'll make that motion. That's what we talked about, correct?
Yep.
Right.
Mhm. Yes.
I'll make that
Did I
motion.
get
Do we
it
have a
all?
second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Good, roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McFetrich?
Yes. Okay, I think we just got rid of all those on the executive session list, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now we move down into public comment, agenda items only. I make a motion to open up public comment, agenda items only. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ma'am.
My name is Leslie Franzak, 130 Puddingstone Way, and I'm the chairwoman for what we're hoping to be Lopatcong's Mayor Wellness Campaign Committee. It's a program that over 375 New Jersey towns have joined, and it, quote, gives mayors tools and strategies to champion healthy and active living to improve the overall health of their communities. One town, Hillsborough, won a designation of Healthy Town 2010, and so I called them and asked them how they achieved that. And what they did is they have a board of health, because they're a town of 40,000 people. So they have their own board of health to help them encourage healthy living. And we have, you know, the LAA for kids. We don't have a whole lot for your seniors and your working class. So I reached out to the Warren County Board of Health to assist LOPAT with this initiative, and I'm excited to say that they've expressed interest in working with the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, if you approve it, to achieve our goals of a healthy town. For instance, they would be willing to come in and do like a lunch and learn for the Lopatcong Township employees, so that way maybe they'll get a little healthier and health costs will be, insurance costs will be under control. So I just want to ask you to consider recognizing the Mayor's Wellness Campaign Committee and enable us all to work together to provide opportunities to make Lopatcong a healthier and more active community. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. I should also note that the county has identified certain funding sources for that committee. Sir.
My name is John Betts, and I live in Berkeley Gardens at 225 Red School Lane. And I just would like to bring up something about mayoral appointments, possibly mayoral appointments that are volunteers, specifically the Rent Leveling Board situation and concerning situations having to do with that. And I have some questions, and I would just like to ask them. I'd like to know who's been monitoring the rent rolls for the first 4 to 5 months of this year. Okay, who has been, and who will be responsible in the future for monitoring those records?
It will be the people that
Are appointed.
Okay. We're making an appointment today.
Okay. And in the past, it has been the chairperson, so that's what was done since 2004. And I'd like to know that once appointed to the Rent Leveling Board, that the people involved will be watching and have the responsibility of watching that the landlords are in compliance with the rent control laws and the ordinances in accord with the leases and rent control regulations of Lopatcong and the state of New Jersey. And then I would like to reiterate that we'd like, as tenants, to have our rights watched and covered. These are important issues for the tenants of our town of Lopatcong, and I hope the choices for the volunteer Rent Leveling Board are the right people to carry out the duties and responsibilities of that Rent Leveling Board. I hope that's the case. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Veterans Group.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Nixon, 626 Youngs Road, Lopatcong. And I'm here this evening to just give you a little update on our financial status and where we're at with the Veterans Rally Point. We're moving along with our plans, and we have received in donations a little over $10,000. That's donations from our people in our township and memorials that were identified for the rally point through the death of Mr. Terry Lee. We've sold 158 engraved pavers in memory of or in honor of a veteran. So we've taken in a total of about $25,000, almost $26,000. We owe Prestige, the company doing the engraved pavers. We'll owe them right now, if we sent our order in today, $8,000 of that workable money. So the balance is around $7,784 that we made in profit on the pavers. So we have a total available monies. We have $17,805. I'll give you a copy of this, okay? That's cash available right now. The pavilion we have our hearts set on and have plans for, which we'll purchase through Green Acres, is $19,706. That's lock, stock, and barrel, wired, everything, okay? So we're a little short on that. And we will need materials to lay our pavers, our engraved pavers, which will be our walkways to the site, and a retaining wall that's 70 feet long. It will be not only a retaining wall, but it will be a seat wall for people to sit during entertainment in the park. We're very, very fortunate. I applied for a grant through E.P. Henry, a paver company. They do grants for veterans projects. Normally, the ceiling is $5,000. They have been here at least a half a dozen times and have been at our meetings and so impressed with what we're trying to do. They are giving us $15,000 worth of material. They're giving us all of the pavers for the walkway. They're giving us all of the pavers for the retaining wall. They are giving us material that we hope to eventually put behind the pavilion as an acoustic wall, which entertainment people have advised. So we did really, really well with that. But of course, it takes material to lay those pavers, gravel, sand, the base. We have an army of people who have offered to volunteer their work to put the pavers down, to put the wall down. Specifically, the Phillipsburg High School Agricultural Department, which will be teaching a landscape class in the second semester of this year. They're going to come on site and help us do the work that needs to be done. And Mr. Baylor from Baylor Landscape is going to donate his time. So all in all, we're doing really well. We are working feverishly on our plans for May 29th. We have 2 teams of people working, the site team, and we have a team of people working on Memorial Day and the dedication ceremony. We will be landing a Black Hawk helicopter at that site on the day that we dedicate, and there are a lot of other plans underway.
Excellent.
So basically, our math shows us we're between $5,000 and $7,000 short right now, depending on some cost to have some of the peripheral work done up there, electrical and things of that nature. So if we can get some help with that, it would be deeply appreciated so we can move forward. We need to get a down payment on the pavilion, and we have no other outstanding bills. Everything's been paid to date.
Good work.
Okay.
Yeah.
First off, thank you for your efforts on behalf of
Thanks, Mr.
veterans.
Clark.
You're on the agenda tonight. Unfortunately, it's number 15.
I'll move them up.
Can we move them up?
Yeah, I'm going to move them up.
Okay. How about you hang around? We'll move you up.
We'll move you up
I'll be
and
happy
then
to see
what we
we'll go right through. Okay?
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, Lori.
Good evening, Lori Tesla, 12 Meadowview Drive. On the agenda, I just have 2 questions. One on the mayoral appointments. In the future, do you think it'd be possible to actually list them on the agenda so that people could see them? And maybe if one of their friends is on here, they might want to come, you know? Because it doesn't say anything right there. My main question though is about the Lopatcong Communications Advisory Committee. I opened the proposed ordinance, and I just wanted to caution council on approving this, just because I think it's a little too powerful, actually. I think it's taking a lot of power away from you guys and from the administration. Most of the posts that go on your website come from your department heads, and they come from groups like the LAA, Recreation. There's lots of great ideas, and I think that definitely the whole community should be involved in what they want to see on the website. And 2 years ago, we sent out a survey and asked people, and we actually implemented some of that, and I think that should continue. But certain things like manage the audio-visual equipment, I really think that should be done by employees. That's expensive equipment. It seems like, I mean, in the whole committee is appointed by mayor, including the webmaster, which doesn't give you much say in who's doing it. Also, it's saying, it seems like they're in control of the web person, but that really needs to be the administrator, because she knows what can and can't go out and what format it should go on. So I just have some concerns about that. And some of the other things, just to let you know, to give you an update, we've been attempting for the last 2 years to update the website. It does require some money because we have to move things around on the server. Also, we were trying to get the online payments. We actually, got a vendor. Katrina looked at the contract. We were ready to go. Then last year, the CFO decided to change all the banks, so we held off. And then it kind of became an utter chaotic mess. So that is still all ready to go when you guys get your bank situation going on, because I think you were going to go out for RFPs for that. Yeah. I don't know if you still are, but if you do, that's all ready to go once you do that. But again, I just wanted to say, I think the power with what goes on your website needs to lie with you guys. Thank you.
I just have a quick comment.
Sure.
It really never did lie with us, and we do have something on our website that was not, council was not actively involved in that, and it is information that is not necessary to be on there, and that's Council Corner, and that needs to be off of our website. So I would like to take that off of our website, and then maybe we can look into this communications ordinance a little bit further. But I think things like Council Corner, where they're subjective, don't belong on our website, and we have no say right now on what does and doesn't go on there. So I think council should have that say. We don't have a policy because council, yes, we do, but it does not allow council to take and remove things or put things on. If you need to talk, we can come back up, but yeah. I asked for information to be taken down, and I was told no from Council Corner, so that is not accurate.
I think if the council as a whole made a motion to remove it, it would be removed. I think if you personally asked for it, I think that might be the disconnect. But
I did.
Council can certainly make a motion and remove things from the website.
I did ask in a public meeting.
I understand your concerns. I understand concerns about the mayor posting things. I understand the concerns about things just showing up there. If we could defer that a meeting, I'd be willing to discuss that.
Okay.
See if we can't come up with something next meeting.
Yeah, I think it's a, like, going forward, it's a big issue. If not, this week, but a couple of years from now, we might have a television station, who knows? So I think, we have to get a fair way of doing this. And I've sought out, people that have done things like this, and they all seem to tell me the same thing, is that you don't want an elected official and you don't want a volunteer to run this. Rather, you want an employee, because then the employee is, can be subject to, to discipline if they screw up, or they can be, you have control over it. And that's what I think is one of the main issues.
I don't control what's on there. Anything that goes on there has to come from Beth or from council.
Did I
That's
say?
what I just wanted you to know. That's not how it works.
It isn't.
Yeah. I said going forward, if we create this, it's better for it to be an employee. I can be very open as to how it's constructed. It doesn't have to be the mayor who chooses. It can be anything. It just has to be fair. And it has to be that anyone who wants to get things up there can reasonably do so. And that's all I want to say. Sir?
Olszewski, Highlands Way. Tom, one thing I would like to, and I don't really know, but since we have used in the past our website and our Facebook and our Twitter as emergency channels for emergencies. I would ask Katrina at one point in time, since we have set the precedence to use these channels for emergency, who is liable if in a case of an emergency things are not conveyed or not used in the proper fashion. Why I say that is during the last snowstorm, as you know, I contacted Lori, actually myself, and she was gracious enough to let the residents know of what happened in town with the power outage. If I would not have been able to get Lori for whatever reason, or if we set the precedence that this is our emergency outlets, somebody must be responsible for it, and is probably also legally responsible for it. And I'm not sure that that can be a volunteer, but that is something maybe Katrina wants to weigh in on, but that is I think that is my opinion. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, as I say, communications is a really big issue, and I think we have to modernize the way we do this, and we have to do it in an intelligent way that's fair to everybody, and that's what I got to say on it. Yes, sir. Now, Gary has his own little communication thing going there.
You have a loud voice, but people want to hear you.
I'm Gary Wolf, Emergency Management Coordinator for the Township. No emergency broadcasts go out from this township unless I authorize it. For the general public, with our emergency communication phone system, that is paid for by Merle Creek. They're required by law to cover Lopatcong Township, Lopatcong Township, Greenwich Township, Franklin Township, Harmony, Phillipsburg, and Alpha. Merle Creek pays the bills for those communities. So any emergency communication to go out over the phone come through me.
How about the other emergency channels like what we have done in the past, Gary, like Facebook and or Twitter, which has been used in the past now to let the public know what the issues are? Are they also going for you?
In my concern, they're not emergencies. If you're using
They're
Facebook,
informational.
email.
So since we have set the precedents and used these in emergency situations, you're not saying that.
Thank you, Gary.
these
Thank you.
should be-
No.
Okay, thank you.
I just think it needs to be streamlined. We have a former council person still doing our posting our videos and taking the tapes and removing them from here. You know, it needs to be an employee, I believe, also someone that's accountable, someone that is has a job description defined, and something that we all can be, you know, secure in knowing that we have an employee accountable for it, not a council person, not a past council person, not a volunteer.
You know what?
So-
I disagree with that. We've got a lot of good volunteers in this township, and this township is built on volunteers. So I don't like any disrespect given to our volunteers. And again, this is just
No disrespect was given to anyone.
this is just posting.
It's
This is
just-
not putting in anyone's opinions on this. They are posting what they're authorized to post. You do not need to be an employee. You do not need to be paid to do that. So I think we're getting a little overboard on that.
I just want to define volunteer. Volunteer is an employee of the town.
I think Mayor, Mr. Pryor asked if we could move this to the next meeting.
Right, I was just gonna reiterate that.
Yes, that would be
Save
good.
it all for next
Folks
time.
come up, you know.
Got it.
All right,
Anybody else?
okay, I don't see anybody else raising their hands, so motion to move out of public comment agenda items only.
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we go into old business. We're going to move ahead for Mr. Nixon's sake and go to, which item was it?
15.
I don't have a 15. Which,
Under new business 15, second.
oh, new business.
Old business 15.
I don't have a 15. I don't know which edition of the agenda you have, but thank you. This changes all the time, and it's hard to,
It's the one with Amadeus.
Yeah, I know,
It's
but I
too late
can't
when it's
plan for the
emailed.
meeting with one that's on the days, you know? I have to have it in my hands. All right, Raleigh Park,
But you
Mr.
have
Bill
notes.
Nixon. Bill has mentioned, as he was just here and he spoke during the open set, public comment period, stating that the veterans need a little bit more money to get this thing to become a reality, the Rally Point. I think they've done a tremendous job so far in raising money independent of the township, and I would like to propose that the township supplement that with a donation to the legal extent we can.
Not a donation.
Contribution. You're right. Contribution. I would like to see a contribution of $7,500.
If I can, Mr. Mayor, before this turns into a motion.
Yeah.
I think just what this goes back to is the previous council in November authorized a contribution of $10,000 subject to certification of availability. I understand from the CFO that we can do that if the money comes out of 2015 funds. I further understand that there is $10,000 available in 2015 funds, and correct me if I'm wrong. So all we really have to do is perfect that approval that was already given in November. So it would be $10,000, and Katrina.
Well, he indicated he could get away with it a little less. Now, if you still need the full amount.
But we offered 10 back in November, and I'd like to, stick with what we offered. If we have it, that was the condition. If we had it, and if it was available. So, do I make a motion? Again?
Well, I guess my question is to Katrina, what are we moving? I mean, we already moved it subject to. Do we just need a certification at this point? Or?
You know what, it can't hurt, especially because there's been discussions about the dollar amount. It can't hurt to ratify it again, just to make sure you're clear on the dollar amount and that the funds are there, and then it's from 2015.
So you verified the 10 is available in 2015?
Funds are available.
Then I'd like to make the motion to ratify that $10,000 contribution to the Rally Point for the veterans.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Vote?
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKinney?
Yes. Okay, that one's done.
Thanks for all your work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, Bill.
Thank you.
I would also like to move the mayor's wellness campaign up because I hope she's still here.
No, she
Oh,
left.
She has to go to work. I thought she'd want to talk. No, we'll do it when it comes. We'll just leave it where it was. All right, the first item under old business is to approve special meeting minutes of December 14, 2015, executive and regular session minutes for December 30th, 2015, executive and regular minutes for January 2016, February 3rd, and special meeting of February 18, 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Any conversation? Okay, roll call.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
No.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKinney?
No, because some of them are kind of old, and I'm very happy though, for the first time since I've been mayor, that the minutes are up to date, and that's a really good thing.
You can approve in part and not approve some in part if you feel.
Well,
It's only December, January, February, not that old.
Pretty old.
they're also not we don't have a consistent minute policy right now.
There can't be a policy on that.
We can just vote.
There is if we go according to Robert's rules.
We,
According to statute.
did we do first and second already?
Vote's over, all right. Ordinance 1601, second reading and public hearing, authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the township and not required for public purposes. That's the fire engine, right?
Yes.
Okay. What, do we have to go out of?
Just a motion to open for public.
Yeah, all right, motion to open that for public comment.
Motion?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are there any public comments on that, selling the fire engine?
No, I think they actually taken the fire engine subject to this approval. If this gets approved tonight, then after 20 days, it's theirs. Did we get the money in our escrow?
It's in my trust account.
Your trust
Because I didn't want them to transport it without you
Without the
having the
money.
money here, so.
So we have it. You have it.
So as soon as the 20 days expires, I will send a check to the township. And we have an indemnification, so if
For the
God
insurance?
forbid
Yeah.
the building is sitting and burns down in the next, which is not out of the realm of happening really. So we have that. So for the next 20 days, but as soon as the 20 days expires, I'll put it on my calendar and
Okay.
send the check out.
Thank you.
Have we given them the bill of sale for the fire truck?
No, not until they.
No,
And
not
for
until-
20 days?
Yeah.
It'll, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll come out of,
Motion to close.
motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
Second, okay, do we have, and all in favor on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approved contract with public,
No, now you have to approve the motion.
oh, I thought we just did, approve the motion. Motion to approve the motion. Second?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
vote please.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes, approved contract with Public Defender Scott Wheelheim for the year 2016. Motion,
Motion?
second,
Second.
discussion.
I do have a question, a simple question, actually. I had a meeting with Mayor Kern last night, and there is discussion about us becoming a participant in their court. And I'm just wondering if this affects the public defender in any way.
The public defender is a per case amount. So if the court were to merge, then that would all merge.
Would he be getting the public defender assignments from the combined court?
It would depend on what your shared service agreement said.
Uh-huh.
He may
Okay.
very well be their public defender because he's employed. at the
He's
town.
there as a backup already.
Oh,
I know that.
So that would be something you'd have to negotiate.
So this contract wouldn't be affected by that?
No, but if you
Okay.
wanted to add, in the past, we've had a provision in the contract that said upon 30 days notice, you could cancel his contract. If you want to add that back.
Well, my suggestion is, as long as that might be on the horizon, that might be a good thing to put in there.
It was in last year.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to just amend the motion.
Okay. So, Tom, do you want to amend?
I
What do you want to do?
propose-
I was unaware there was a
So, okay.
meeting with Mayor Kern, so I'm trying to process all this.
You're proposing to amend.
Amend it to provide a provision for cancellation upon 30 days notice.
Okay,
So you need a motion?
motion.
Motion.
Well, that's
No,
fine.
you made the motion.
You made the motion. Second.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay. All right, then, roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Next one is to approve the contract with the Township Auditor, Nisavoshia LLP. I believe I appointed another firm on February 3rd, 2016 to be Township Auditor. So, and that's still a matter of litigation, so I think we should table that for now.
Katrina, I'd like an opinion on that, please.
Our office has given the opinion that it is not the mayor's appointment, and so council appointed Ms. Avachia. This contract would back that up. Now, if the mayor's correct in that piece of his litigation he wins, then obviously this contract would be invalid.
So we can approve the contract, and if he wins, it can invalidate the contract. Then I'd make the motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
No.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
No. Approve annual energy maintenance solution service with Vanguard in the amount of $2,462.05. Motion? Motion to approve that contract?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Be honest with you, I don't know this one. Could somebody explain where this came from? What it is?
Vanguard is the folks that installed all our solar on all of our buildings. And we've had a maintenance contract with them since the beginning to maintain them. So this is this year's contract. There's a difference of $68 a month.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe? Yes. Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Chairman Cook?
Yes. Resolution 1638, appoint Paul Sturbins of Mazer Consult. What?
I don't know the right agenda.
I get 5 agendas. It's hard for me to know which is right.
They changed that often.
Sure they do.
We have a whole new packet sitting on the days.
I know, but I can't
I know
conduct a
the
meeting
desk are on
from
the
that
other
way.
one. I understand
Yeah.
that. Nobody is.
Number 6 on, old business.
Ordinance to establish finance committee liaisons to departments and municipal, finance committee liaisons to departments and municipal engineer.
Mayor, I can just explain,
Yeah, well, this, you're gonna have to do a lot of explaining on, so please do.
Okay, all 3 of these items were presented separately from different members of council, and I made the recommendation that they all be put into one ordinance so they can be advertised together, so you only pay 1 fee for advertising them, and put in the code book under administration, since finance committee, liaison departments, and municipal engineer. I didn't make any changes to anything from your finance committee or anything from Mr. Pryor's liaison. I merely put them in as they were given. I just put them into an ordinance, into a format. As for the municipal engineer, I think you said the last 2 meetings ago, I had given you a memo that according to the ordinance, to the statute, you should have an ordinance for the municipal engineer. And it should be the mayor, with the advice and consent of council, which you said at the meeting. So it's merely just putting that in another place into your ordinance. So, but I just put all 3 of those items together as one. I didn't make any changes to them. If anyone wants to make any changes, you should have that discussion. But I just put them together for saving money.
May I perhaps clarify this?
Sure.
The first part deals with council liaisons. I would like to do that in 2 parts. I would like to make a resolution tonight, so that takes effect immediately. And then I would like to embody that in this ordinance. The second part of the ordinance is the creation, appointments, and purpose of a finance committee. This would document it for the first time. I did not use what the mayor suggested. These are my suggestions, and I'm proposing them tonight for first reading. The third part actually came from Katrina. There was some discussion over whose appointment the engineer was, how long the appointment was. Katrina, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did some research. You had to read several statutes, and this is the way to do it, correct?
Yes, it's my recommendation you do it by ordinance. The statute says by ordinance.
I don't think these things should have been joined. I think you joined them so that you could shove something down the council's throat. I think it was in very poor taste. And yeah, it's just, well, it's more of the same, really.
I was merely trying to save the council several $100.
I would like to, since I just got your versions last night, it's a little short time to take yours and match it up to the mayor's.
You know what? What I'd like to do is I'm going to move the liaisons by resolution tonight, and I'd be willing to put the ordinance portion a month and give you all time to review it.
Sure, that would be great. There wasn't enough time for me to look through that.
I understand that.
So we received this, not last night, prior to last night. We received that.
No.
You know what?
Joe,
I don't know. I think it might have been Monday, but I understand.
No,
It's
we
an
just got
ordinance.
it
You want to?
last
I'm
night.
good with that. But I would like the liaisons were out there, have been out there. I would like to introduce that by resolution tonight.
So just to be clear, you're asking the ordinance be moved to the special meeting or the next?
Next full meeting, give everybody.
That's what I thought you said. I just
Yeah.
wanted for Beth's purposes.
Okay. So for the April.
So, 3-1, 3-2, and 3-3, I would like to move by resolution tonight, now, and that would take effect immediately, and I'm making that motion.
I can't even find it because you changed the numbers, so it's going to take me a while to look at what you're saying. My section, my agenda that I'm working off of had this thing listed about 4 times. And I found it very difficult to follow.
Beth, would you care to read the resolution, so there's no
Well, I
confusion?
can read the proposed Article 1 Council Liaison.
3-1, 3-2, and 3-3, that would be my
Council
resolution.
Liaison's position is created. The council creates a position of council liaison to provide oversight, serve as a communications link, and otherwise act as a resource for various municipal departments and volunteer boards. The liaisons have no supervisory responsibility or authorities. 3-2 is departments and boards. Council liaisons are specifically created for the following departments and/or volunteer boards. That would be administration liaison, recreation committee, board of education, sewer utility, Lopatcong Athletic Association, buildings and grounds, environmental commission, economic development advisory committee, recycling, Department of Public Works, shade tree commission, rent leveling board. Council liaisons may be added or deleted from time to time upon a majority vote of council. 3-3 positions filled. All council liaison positions shall be filled by majority vote of council after council members have expressed their interest in various positions.
I would like to move that resolution.
I don't understand why we're doing that resolution. Since the township was founded,
I would like to
The
move
mayor-
that resolution.
the mayor was the
and
one who
we'll have
chose those.
discussion.
I second that.
Second, that.
Discussion. The discussion is that, you know, this was never done in that fashion. At least the last 15 years, the mayor made those appointments, and it's part of the whole balancing of authority and power that goes on in the township and has gone on here for years. Now you want to change that so you have that power. And I understand that some people are, you know, obsessed with power and they want control of everything, but I don't see why that we necessarily should do this.
The reason it came up, and we discussed this continuously, is that the prior mayor had discussions with most, if not all of us, as far as what our interests were and what we would like to be a liaison or on which committee. You have come in last year and you just threw it at us. You didn't talk to us, you didn't ask us what we wanted, and you just gave it to us. We went along with it. Now this year, 2016 comes in, you do it again, but now you shuffle it up. And your excuse was, well, you all need to get experience. Well, I'm sorry, I'm here for 3 years. You've got me on a committee. It takes time to learn the ins and outs of the committee and the rules. So to keep shuffling up is not helping anyone. So that's the reason for this, to straighten out the nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
I have to
And-
say-
And I did spoke to almost, I spoke to you, I asked you the things you wanted to have. I
What,
spoke to
who,
Donna.
who, what, me? You didn't speak to
Mr.
me.
Pryor.
Well, you didn't speak to me. Mr. Pryor just came on.
Well, you never come around.
No,
so I
you
didn't
didn't
see that
speak
much.
to me.
I have to say, you guys continually say that the prior mayor did this, and that is factually inaccurate. It is factually inaccurate.
I stated, we
I'm
spoke
not
to
finished,
most,
please.
if
All right.
not all of us.
I know, Maureen, you love to interrupt me. Can you just let me get
Because
my
you don't
statement out?
listen.
I listen very well. Thank you.
No.
Apparently, I let you speak. It is not accurate. It is factually inaccurate. He did not go to everyone and ask what they wanted. That is not true. And this is being done, I believe, not in the intention and spirit of what it should be. So it is not true. He did it. He had full reign to do this. And there were even council people that made speeches that said, I was given LAA or I was given this, so it was given to them, not with discussion. I had no discussion with the prior mayor. I looked at an agenda and my name was on there with my liaison positions. So that is not true.
Maybe, if I may, Mayor. I don't argue with you. Perhaps that happened that year with you. I went back as far as I could in the minutes. It appeared to be inconsistent. Many years it was done by resolution of...
I can't hear. There's too much in the background.
All right. Many years it was done by resolution of council. It was inconsistent. I don't doubt that the year Donna came on, it was not done by resolution of council. What I'm suggesting, and I'm suggesting two things here. One is I'm defining the position. It seems to be it's whatever anybody wants it to be, all the way from boss of the department to whatever. So I'm proposing three things here. I said a communications link, a resource, and oversight. Very simple. The supervisory responsible remains with the executive branch. We're legislators. Second thing is I'm actually listing the boards. Maybe this isn't a complete list, but it can be amended. And the third thing is it's to be filled by vote of council. And that's my proposal. It's a very simple one. That's the reason I'm doing it. I'll say this now. I don't want to upset everything. The only suggestion I'm making three suggestions really, is Maureen asked for buildings and grounds. She had it last year, and this is in conjunction with this motion. I'd like that, I'd move that go back to her. I'd ask that Donna consider taking recycling again. I don't think that was assigned to her, and I think she did a good job with that last year. I urge her to take that again if she wants.
I do have a lot of other liaison roles. I would like to not have that, but
If you're not interested, we'll leave it out there. Now, again, the only thing I'm requesting to, lessen your load is the buildings and grounds. Still have public works and the other things that were assigned to you.
Okay.
The other thing is the administrative liaison. I really think that belongs to the council president. The mayor already has the administration. So I think oversight and liaison to council should come from the council president.
Who's you?
Who's me? So that's my motion.
Well,
and you know what? If the council wanted to nominate somebody else other than me, I'm good with that too.
a few things. Recycling is recycling/clean communities usually. You have the rent leveling board, the animal control function, the technology committee, the shade tree committee, and mayor's wellness, among the ones that just came to my mind as I was jotting them down, that aren't accounted for in this.
The mayor's wellness is under a separate ordinance.
Not by me, somebody else.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I know. You know what?
Yeah.
The mayor's wellness.
Well, look, we have a,
It's all right. Look, I know what you're trying.
we have a motion on the floor.
You know,
Could we have a vote? I think the discussion's
I don't know what the
petered
motion
out.
is. Repeat the motion.
She read the motion. The motion is to adopt 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3.
All three of those items?
Yes.
Wait a minute, no. You said you wanted to only do the part that has to do with council liaison.
That's the part.
3.1, 3.2, and 3.3.
3.1, 3.2, and 3.3.
Council liaisons, departments, and boards positions
All right,
filled.
then, you made your motion. You have a second to the vote.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
I'm going to say no right now.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
No. I just view this as another mechanism by which you're weakening the position of mayor. And going down the road, I'm not going to be mayor, and I know you'll change it back. But
No, this does
you'll
bind future mayors, and I don't think they'll have a problem with it. In the end, it takes 3 votes, and that's how it works.
Just for the record, Mayor,
What?
that's why I recommend it be done by ordinance.
But
So
for
it-
40 years, it was done somewhere else.
But, so this way, each year, it's in
All
a
right.
different resolution.
I don't care. It's fine. I just don't like the way it was done.
And again, I'll do it this way. I'd like to nominate Maureen McCabe for buildings and grounds. I'll leave the administration liaison open to nomination,
I agree to leave it with Joe, our council president.
and I'd ask if anyone is interested in recycling. If no one is,
I'll take it.
Mrs. McCabe has expressed an interest, so I'd like to make those
For now, right.
a motion to make those assignments for now.
For now, right.
Second.
Second.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
No.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
No. Okay. If I can ever figure out what is going on here with all these agendas.
Well, number 8.
So Article 2?
Yeah,
And that's the
Native water.
Appointment of Board of Adjustment, was that it?
Number 7.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, number 7 is what you're on, the appointment of the Board of Adjustment.
All right, 16-139, appoint Michael Ungst to Zoning Board of Adjustment.
You next.
You next? I'm sorry. To the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Motion,
I'll make that motion.
second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay. Yes. Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Number 8 on my agenda, and I don't know which was your agenda, but the next one is approved Barry Plastics Developers Agreement.
As I mentioned earlier, we wanted to approve that conditioned upon an indemnification agreement for the sewer permitting by the township. And I believe the attorney and the representative from Berry Plastics is here if you had any questions.
That is correct. If there's any questions about
Can
this
you
matter.
come up, please? Identify yourself, please.
Excuse me, Mayor, Council,
Hi.
Mark Peck. I represent STAD, who is the owner of the Berry Plastics site. STAD was actually the applicant at the zoning board. I am here with the site engineer, Corey Long. If you have any questions about the developers agreement or the next matter, which is the sewer allocation, we're here to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your consideration.
Good. Mr. Peck, did you hang up here for a second? I think the proposal was to approve the agreement with one addition.
Correct. Which
And-
was an indemnification agreement between the township and STAG
Correct.
to, for the sewer permitting, for the township to be the permit.
Correct.
And you're okay with that?
We're fine with that. We've discussed that extensively with the board and your professionals.
Okay, great.
Then I'd like to make a motion to approve the developers agreement with that condition added,
Thank you.
subject to you two working out
Correct.
language.
Satisfactory language.
Satisfactory language.
I second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes,
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I figure I'll just hang out up here.
I think you're good.
Have the,
I think you're good.
Oh, yeah. Discuss wastewater allocation request from Barry Plastics.
Paul, do you have a report on that, or?
We discussed this briefly at the last meeting. Mr. Madden's handling this. I can briefly summarize. I mean, the property is in the sewer surface area. The flows that are being proposed with the building expansion and the connection to the sewer, I believe, can be accommodated by the sewer system here in Lopatcong Township. So
Does anybody remember the figure?
it's roughly
Hi, I'm Corey Long with Patino and Associates. We're the design builder for the project. The flows were approximately 14,000 to 15,000 gallons per day calculated.
I have one suggestion. I would ask that the condition include the provision that flows be equalized to the maximum practical extent.
As far as discharge from our site?
Yes.
From a pump station?
Yeah, the problem is the peak flows go down the Peaburg, we discharge to another town, and the constraint, the downstream constraint, of course, is peak flow, not the daily flow.
Okay.
So we don't want to see it discharge, a whole lot in an hour if that can be avoided.
We believe it can be, and we've had discussions, albeit conceptually, with Paul and Dan Madden, I believe, between our site engineer of record regarding that and the function of our facility.
Okay, I suggest my motion would be to grant the allocation subject to an examination of equalizing flows to the maximum practical extent.
Okay. We can accommodate that.
And the flow is 14,130 gallons per day.
So that's
That's your motion?
Again, I'm not acting as the engineer, so Paul, you jump in.
No, I don't think it's going to interfere with any other project. There's capacity, within our allocation with Phillipsburg to accommodate those flows.
Yeah, and back in the day when I was involved, I would agree with that. So.
And just to add, the authorization for the mayor to execute the treatment works application.
Yeah, that's really a third. We could combine that. Yeah.
What do you currently, what is the flow now with the current building?
I don't know exactly what it is now. It's an existing septic system.
Right. Okay.
So this is actually, the projected flows include potential for future expansion, which is not under consideration of this particular project. So it's an infrastructure built for future expansion.
Okay.
I would just suggest that the portion of the motion having to do with signatures, I think there's going to be signatures required from others beyond the mayor. I think either Mr. Madden or myself will also have to sign the application as well. So that could just be factored into the motion.
So there's a motion on the floor to.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes.
Thank you
Oh,
again.
good. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I just had one thing. In order for the applicant to file an application with the DEP, they are going to need a resolution for the governing body. So I know we kind of came up with a framework tonight, but is it possible either at the next meeting or the April meeting, we could actually have a formal resolution adopted?
So I remember it, the resolution for the TWA has to be a clean resolution. So that's why I say the conditions have to be attached to the allocation. So there's actually
We need two resolutions.
two resolutions, one authorizing the mayor to sign a TWA, and that has to be clean. And then the other, the allocation is subject to, the conditions about equalization.
I think we have, as far as our process goes, we've gone to Phillipsburg as far as the treatment plant and received their conditional approval, if you will, in terms of the flow. And I think we can accommodate that by getting the information on the peak flow to you pretty directly.
And what I'm talking about is the DEP has a checklist.
Yeah.
And one of the checklist items is they're going to want a local resolution.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll need one from the town of Phillipsburg as well. So we're giving you approvals tonight, but we need to actually come up with a formal resolution that gets signed
Understood.
to give to you.
Yeah, and if my memory serves me correctly, the resolution that authorizes the mayor has to be a clean resolution. We can't put conditions on that one. We can put conditions on the allocation.
All right. So maybe what should be done is, I know we have a meeting on the 21st, or the next meeting will be April, is actually Katrina and I work on getting those two resolutions prepared and ready for the council's approval.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I mean, the way to make this work, and I'd have to withdraw that resolution, and we'll just pass those resolutions that night.
Wasn't one with making a contingent on the indemnification to get it started?
Well,
That's a different issue. Yeah, just in the.
that's a different issue, but I don't know, what's your schedule? We can restate the resolutions.
We're under a very tight schedule.
All right, I'm going to make the first resolution, authorizing the mayor to sign the treatment works approval.
Second?
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Fryer?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes.
My second resolution is, I ask council to approve an allocation of 14,130 gallons a day, subject to the applicant making his best, his most practical effort to equalize his discharge.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Fryer?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes.
You're good.
Good.
Okay, we're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
Ordinance 1602. First reading to amend Chapter 183, Section 183.08, entitled Base and Use Charges to provide a 10% reduction in residential sewer use fees to qualified senior citizens and disabled persons. I have to open that up, right? And first
It's
reading.
a motion for
All right.
introduction.
All right, it's a motion for introduction. All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion. Now, when you say qualified senior citizen, what does that mean?
They also have to meet certain income thresholds, and there's two ways they can qualify. I think there's a $10,000 limit, but that excludes your Social Security benefits, so you can actually have a generous Social Security benefit, and then you make $10,000 on top of that. The other one is participation in a program.
It's spelled out in the.
Yeah, I'm looking for the pharmaceutical assistance to the aged and disabled program, PAD. And in that case, there's more exclusions, but it's a more, the threshold for that program is a more generous threshold.
Okay.
So I think they both work out. They're adjusted, but I think they both work out to around the same every year.
Okay.
So you have to meet an age requirement.
What's the age? 60?
I think it's 65.
Uh-huh.
65. And disabled are also, if they meet the income threshold, disabled are also eligible. But you have to meet a certain, there's several definitions of disabled, so you'd have to meet one of those.
Okay. Now, you didn't just do this so you could get this for yourself. Only kidding. All right.
I don't think I'm eligible, but.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Fryer?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes. Ordinance number 1603, oh, I have to, no. Ordinance 1603, first reading to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 327 Vehicles and Traffic, including Section 23 through streets relative to South 6th Street. Paul, do you wish to talk on that?
Yeah, this ordinance would designate South 6th Street here in the neighborhood around the municipal building as a through street, similar to South 1st through South 4th Streets. And the significance of that designation is that any street that would intersect that particular through street would be able to have a stop sign on it. And I think some of the residents that live on some of the side streets approaching 6th Street have been requesting stop sign installation. So this would allow for that once it's adopted.
Okay, thank you. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Belknap?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
And
Yes. Resolution 1641, Mayor's Wellness Campaign. I make a motion to approve this worthy program.
Did you read the resolution?
Mark, did you change? I put in a resolution. Has that been changed too? My resolution's been changed?
Your resolution did not address anything that the insurance carrier requested.
All right, let's see. The insurance carrier said that, at least this is what I'm told. The insurance carrier said that we had some nerve putting a registered nurse in charge of this because, you know, people might think that the township is giving advice as to diet or health issues. The second thing that I was told is that, what was the second thing? Because it didn't have a township email address, it couldn't be Oakwood. Now, I don't think any organization in this town, any committee or board has a township email address that can be Oakwood. So I would greatly wonder why we would use that to try and stop this. And what was the third? I have to look at my notes.
I can tell you what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ma'am. That council by resolution approve and adopt any wellness program sponsored by the township. That the program should be defined in terms of the types of activities that the township will be promoting or sponsoring. That the township and volunteers involved in the program not offer medical or dietary advice because this would be beyond the scope of typical operations of municipal government. It may not be carried by the township's insurance.
And
So-
just to, sorry,
Yeah.
those were the three items, but the insurance email did not say that we have some nerve appointing a nurse. That's not what it said. It said,
Perhaps I dramatized it
perhaps,
to
a
display
little
my
bit.
disgust that anyone would try to stop something like
That's
this.
not the purpose of the email. It stated they were not comfortable having a nurse in because, as it stated here on number 3, we would not want someone offering medical or dietary advice because this is beyond the scope.
We should go out and
of
get
our
some,
insurance.
drunk or something and put him in charge.
You know, it's very strange.
I don't know what to say, you know? This
Well,
is like beyond
it's
my
responding to what the insurance company said.
Well, what they would.
You don't provide professional service. I'm a professional engineer. I don't sign PE after my name.
Is she gonna provide a professional service?
This isn't time for comment. Thank you.
So the point is to not put this township in liability.
I agree. I don't want to put the township in liability. I
Okay.
strongly
Based-
suspect
based
having an
on
RN walking with a bunch of senior citizens through the malls and putting the township in any kind of risk. But, you know, whatever we have to do.
How
No.
about bringing a yoga program into a church and taking up donations and giving them to the yoga instructor?
That you appointed.
That I appointed?
Run by the chairman that you appointed. The program has to run under the direction of the township. There's no question.
We can't put the
And I'm not
township in
making that up
liability.
about the yoga. I got a call on that today. Happened to involve Pilgrim Church.
They may have been looking for places to have their meetings.
No, they were
In
looking
fact,
to
they have
run,
to meet in the
they were
library
looking to
because
run
we
the
can't
yoga
get,
program
meeting
and take
place
a
here.
collection and give it to the yoga instructor. To me, that's
That I don't
just,
know.
well,
But
I got the call and it was from the wellness committee that they got the proposal.
So these
So-
are the things we have to examine.
Yeah.
Put the township at risk.
Beth, again, could you read the resolution, please?
Sure. Whereas the Mayor's Wellness Campaign is a joint collaboration between the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute and the New Jersey State League of Municipalities. And whereas the mission of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign is to equip mayors and other key leaders with the tools to develop and implement active living initiatives in their communities. And whereas the mayor has proposed such a campaign for Lopatcong. And whereas the township's insurer has recommended that 1, the council by resolution should approve and adopt any wellness program sponsored by the township. Number 2, that the program should be defined in terms of the types of activities that the township will be promoting or sponsoring. And number 3, that the township and volunteers involved in the program not offer medical or dietary advice, because this would be beyond the scope of the typical operations of municipal government and may not be covered by the township's insurance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Township of Lopatcong that the Mayor and Council support the establishment of a Mayor's Wellness Campaign in Lopatcong Township. Number 2, we encourage the residents of Lopatcong to participate in activities designed to achieve healthier, more active lives. Number 3, there shall be established a Mayor's Wellness Committee comprised of the following: the Mayor, who shall serve as chair, a representative of council appointed by majority vote of council who shall serve as vice chair, a maximum of 5 members of the public appointed by the mayor with the advice and consent of council. All public members shall serve a 1-year term subject to annual reappointment at the township's reorganization meeting. Applicants for the committee must submit a volunteer form to the township clerk, and upon appointment shall be subject to the local government ethics law. The committee shall comply with all township policies concerning email, website posting, social media, and the like. The mayor may authorize township employees to assist the committee with those aspects of the program requiring township involvement, advertising, finance, etc. Number 4, responsibilities of the committee shall include identify, publicize, and coordinate with existing programs and facilities that promote wellness and health awareness. Plan and organize community events to promote wellness, such as walking tours, cycling events, and the like. Conduct informational programs featuring licensed wellness practitioners. Invite local health-related businesses to participate in Community Day and sponsor events. Undertake additional health-related initiatives as approved by the governing body. No initiative or event shall include medical advice, dietary advice, or other professional health advice by township employees, including members of the committee. Number 5, municipal support of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign may be ended at any time by a majority vote of council.
All right, I've heard that. Now, this has restrictions in it that no other board or commission has. The last one, it can be ended at any time by majority vote of council.
Because I'm not doing this, we're not doing this by ordinance. It's a resolution doing exactly what the insurance company requested. And the feeling is, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. It's a campaign.
It's supposed to be an ongoing campaign, from what I read about it. And then you say you want to conduct informational programs featuring licensed wellness practitioners. And on the other hand, you say you don't want a registered nurse to be in charge of the program.
She, as volunteers, township employee. If Coordinated Health wants to offer a doctor to come down and speak on asthma,
Because I'm sure the
that would
RN
be
wouldn't
fine.
assume liability on her own for anything she gives out. So
Yeah.
that's the difference, you know.
And they would have to be subject to local government ethics law as well. So if what
But I think then we have to subject every committee, board, committee.
they are.
they are,
How come they don't have operable websites, web addresses?
That's a question.
Well, you know, it's always the new things that the people bring.
Well, because that's what's coming in front of me. I've been here 2
All
months.
right, then I think we have to also require every one of the other boards and
I
committees to
have no problem with the board giving a municipal web address.
All right, then that will be something I want to, let's do that. I'll do it in a minute. All right. The only way I can get this through, I guess, is to agree to this. This is not what I submitted. And I just want to make something that's available for the vast majority of the people who live in this township, not a small select group. And there seemed to be a lot of support starting out with this. I had it in its formative stage since the summer. We had an exhibit at the park during the community day. We've had an exhibit in the hallway here since the summer. Everyone knew about this. It was discussed at the council meetings. But now you want to clamp down on it and control it. I understand that you have your concerns. In order that I get anything, I guess I have to agree to that. So
Do you want to make the motion?
no, you make it.
I'll make the motion to adopt this resolution.
It's a simple liability issue, so it's a
No, it's
problem
not.
with insurance guidelines. And, unfortunately, we live in a time where, people can and will sue, for anything. So the thing is, we got to protect the township. Unfortunately, that's where we are today. Maybe 10 years ago, it wasn't like this. 20 years ago, wasn't even thought of. Second.
And I agree.
Discussion?
We're all in favor of a wellness campaign, but we have to do it right to protect the township.
And the people who are involved.
The people who are involved.
And you think
the
it's
township.
necessary for the council to approve volunteers to this thing?
Yes.
Yes.
They're representing themselves with their own credentials that possibly somebody would take.
The other
seriously and
volunteers,
say,
not the one that's a nurse, but there's other people that have been,
Well, I'm talking about the nurse. I would want her to assume liability.
No, I think all volunteers at this point going forward should
Volunteers.
have approval
of council, because we don't do that in a lot of things, but okay.
We'll have to submit a volunteer form, so that's just like every other group.
I understand. Vote, please.
Councilman Belcaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Council President Fryer,
yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes, and I also would like to make a resolution that all boards, commissions, associations associated with the Township of Lopatcong be required to have an operable township email address.
Motion.
Wait a second, do we have discussion first?
Well, there's a cost
All right.
involved in that too, I believe.
Yeah, what about the cost and, why?
But don't we want to be
you're-
compliant with insurance?
No, it's a different
Because
issue.
these other courts meet on a monthly or quarterly basis.
That
I
doesn't
think-
exempt them.
I think we
Second.
need to examine this a little
I
further.
seconded it. Now, let's,
And it's discussion. No, who made the motion? You mean, for this? Yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
The problem
the
that
problem
comes
is you don't
about
want to do that. I
is-
understand.
Let's just vote on it. So we
now
have a
it's
matter of
discussion
record.
time, right?
It's discussion time.
Township matters are operable. Township matters are operable.
Mhm.
If you're using your personal email, then that becomes a problem because your personal email gets commingled with your official
May
email.
I answer that? It's not a personal email. It was an email that this group made up, and they share it, so that none of them would have.
Well, there may be another way to do it, but you have to restrict your emails to, a volunteer organization. Maybe there's another way to do it that's cheaper than township emails. So I don't quarrel with that in principle. I think all volunteers are township employees, and they are subject to ethics rules. And we want to make sure that their emails, people can't get into their personal emails, so they have to do those communications in a certain way. Whether it's a township address or we create an address for a group, that might work as well. So I'd like to at least defer the mechanics of it for a meeting, but I'm okay with the concept.
So then I'll revise the motion to that we agree in concept that all boards, commissions, associations through which the Township of Lopatcong operates will be required to have in some form operable emails in the near future.
I would like to examine the cost of that first and go over the mechanics before we vote on anything.
We
like
don't,
that.
the cost is irrelevant because we have to do this to comply with the insurance person.
I'm not sure that's what they said, because you misstated what they said about the nurse, so I'd really like to read what they said about the email.
They said it
before
has
we
to be
jump all over
operable,
this.
period.
It's not on our agenda, I don't think we need to vote on that tonight.
See, I see.
You know, at my suggestion, let's do a little research. I'm with you on concept, and we'll nail it next meeting.
I agree, let's put it till next week meeting till we can research the issue more thoroughly.
Well, I just do this to illustrate how things work.
So do we,
So I can't,
because I think you've misread the email.
I didn't misread it.
Which meeting you want to do this on, 21st or the?
Yeah,
April?
21st.
There was a motion on the second.
I know, I'm waiting for a vote. Vote, please.
Councilman Belcaro,
No, we'll wait till the next meeting. until we get-
Councilwoman McKay,
No.
Councilwoman Schneider,
If the mayor's okay with waiting, then I'll say no.
Council President Fryer,
No.
Mayor McKay.
No, I guess I have to say.
Do you want to
But it's-
nominate
It's to
the woman who just spoke as your first member?
Yes, I do. Leslie is, I don't have everyone's names here with me because I didn't think I would need that. But I would like to, Leslie Franziak as the first volunteer. All right, and I think, let me think if I can remember who else is on there, some other people.
Well, I'd like to get it started.
All right, Leslie Franziak, Carol.
Well, I don't know the other ones. Leslie's been working on it, so I'd like to just start. I'm willing to make a motion to approve her.
Second. Discussion?
Then
Roll
we need
call.
to see volunteer forms.
Yeah.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
She did that.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes.
Is anyone interested in serving as vice chair
Oh, for us?
for the council?
I'll do it.
Nobody else? All right. I'll make a motion that Donna Schneider serve as the vice chair.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Next item, authorize township attorney to make offers and/or initiate condemnation proceedings for widening of Belvedere Road for the Phillipsburg High School intersection. I thought we did that already.
This was discussed in executive session 2 meetings ago. However, you failed to take action to authorize me to do it, so I couldn't do it. So
Okay.
my letters have been on hold.
All right, I motion to do that. Do I have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Resolution 1651, authorize special litigation counsel Inglacio, Webster, Bisaccia, and Taylor to retain sewer rate and valuation expert with regard to the pending litigation. This is, we all know what this is. This is the litigation with Phillipsburg. And we need to do that again this year, right? Okay, so I motion that we do that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I don't know if I agree with this. I'd like to hold it at least till the next meeting. As I understand it, we're in this for substantial amount. It's a relatively, when it started out, it was relatively simple lawsuit. It involved language in the contract. Katrina, it's a point of law. I don't know what the expert does for us.
I have a conflict on this matter, so I don't know
You
too
can't
much
comment
about
at all.
this. But what I
Okay.
can tell you is if you discuss this at another meeting,
Yeah.
I would recommend you put it in the executive session because it's litigation. So I can tell you that from a general standpoint.
All right, so I'll limit it to, I would recommend we hold this for at least a meeting, and I would like to have a discussion with Mr. Inglesino.
I should invite him to the April meeting.
Yes.
Executive session.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in the middle of a vote, weren't we?
Yes, you are.
So, and we were voting to approve this gentleman, and now you wish to change that vote.
Yes.
And so,
Take the vote.
Yes, and we already
we already did.
did, and it passed.
No, it was a motion and a second, and
Second, I don't know.
So
Okay.
someone can make a motion to table it, or you can
Okay.
vote on it.
that's a subsidiary motion. I can do that, can I, Katrina? I'll make a subsidiary motion to table that till April 1st, or April, to the April
Second.
meeting.
April meeting.
Second on that subsidiary motion?
Second.
All right, the roll call?
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Okay, we did Mr. Nixon. I don't know, all these. I guess we'll go to new business, right?
Right.
I'm trying to juggle this best I can. All right, new business, resolution 1642, approved privacy policy with regard to the township's video security system. Yeah, this is another one that I find remarkable. For some reason, we have this elaborate security system. And a year ago, the security guy allowed me to go onto the, he put my computer that belongs to the township. He opened it up so I could see the parking lot on the video feeds. Now I think you want to make, in some fashion, a way that I don't have that anymore. I don't even look at it, so I don't care. But I guess long-range plan was to put it on the monitor, the big television screen in the hallway, at least some of the feeds that pertain to the parking lot, so that when employees left when it was dark or something, they could look up there and see what's going on. So that was what I wanted to do with it. Yeah. It's remarkable.
I'll make the motion.
A motion to what?
Council Resolution 1642, video security system.
Well, you can make it. I'll take a second, and then we'll have further discussion. Second?
Second.
Okay. I guess my big question is, do we really need the system? I mean, what does it do? And it costs a fortune to keep. And if only person that can look at it is I don't. Is Mrs. Diltz still going to look at it?
No.
The police department.
You had access to it at home and all this stuff. I
No,
only
I
had
do not, and I really object to you making a comment like that.
You
Take
have,
it back.
You have
Take
access
it
to
back.
it at home.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I do not have access to it at home.
You
I've
most
never looked at. I
certainly
haven't looked at it since.
I didn't ask if you looked at it. I said you have access at home.
I
Is
could
that
probably
not
figure
correct?
out how to do it, but I don't, and I never looked at it at my home or anyplace else on my phone.
I'm not,
It's
again,
not that interesting.
I'm not asking whether you looked, I'm sorry, it's our discussion, you can wait till the end of the meeting. I'm not asking whether you looked at it or not. I'm asking you that you do have access to it from home. That's a fact.
I don't know how to do it. I'd have to find out.
That's not our problem. But here's the issue. Security tape should be handled by the police department, not by...
I agree. I can go with that.
I don't agree
I'd
with-
like to see it up on here. I'd like to
I don't
include-
agree with having it up on there either.
Oh,
This
you
is a
don't?
security camera. So the reason for the security is to maintain the security of the building.
Has
not
it
to
ever
show-
been used for any purpose?
Not to, how would I know?
Well,
We
that's
get
not, we're
complaints
spending a
if
fortune
there's a
on it.
problem. It's for liability possibly. And we have the police right downstairs. If there's an issue, we can get the police immediately.
I don't even know if we're at discussion. I made a motion. Was there a second?
I think I seconded
He
it.
seconded it, so we're in discussion.
This is also in accordance with recommendations by our insurance carrier that recommends the adoption of a policy that permits video surveillance only in cases of specific legitimate purpose and with proper authorization.
Okay, so we have no specific purpose. They just on all the time.
If you had an episode
Security.
here,
Security.
the police have approximately 30 days of tape they could review. If there was an incident up here, you could file a police report. They have 30 days of tape they could review. It's monitored down there by a police officer. Sits right between
I
the
know where
desk
it
of
is.
two people.
Yeah, it's on the wall down there. You know, to me, it's just much to do about nothing, but if you want to make an ordinance about this,
It's a resolution
Oh,
and it's
resolution
regarding
about
the
it.
security of this building. It's protecting the liability issues of the township. And since you don't use your access anyway, hopefully included in this is that all access that was previously out there is being revoked and only the police will have access.
It's just so it protects, that not anybody,
Protects what?
right now the way it is, anybody can get
It's
it.
for safety. It protects even the police coming and going.
Right. Right now, the way it is,
Prisoners.
anybody can get the IP address and view it from home
It doesn't protect the
for
prisoners.
for whatever reason. So we
You
want to
just
eliminate.
said you wanted a feed on the outside monitor here for safety purposes for the
But when
people. So
people
now
leave
you're
this
saying
building-
you don't
Not the
think it's,
police
you know,
entrance. I
very
think he
good?
means
Well,
for
I mean,
this
since we don't
entrance, not
have
the
that,
police.
then I see no point to it. But, you know, it's up to the council. If the council wants to continue to spend thousands of dollars to maintain this system, which only the police can look
Well,
at.
again, Mayor, that's a
Which is different.
separate issue. We have a motion
We have a motion
on the
and a
floor
second.
right now.
We need it. We're doing this.
But while we're on this motion, there are security cameras elsewhere in the township that probably we don't need either. There's one in the DPW.
No, there's more than one at the DPW.
Well, there's one in, I said, in the DPW's break room that I can't imagine why that's there. And I think that if you're talking about invasion of privacy, that one's ridiculous.
Mayor, in an executive session another time, I can tell you exactly why it's there. It was a long tortured history of why the DPW had certain cameras where they have certain cameras.
Yeah, let's stick to this resolution that we have on the
People got
table.
fired.
We have a first and a second. We have discussion.
Because it happened 15 years ago, it can't happen now.
Yeah.
Katrina, we can put the cameras everywhere.
The entire DPW was what.
Big brother.
That means we should have it for everybody.
Mayor, can we have a
Do it for
vote,
one.
please?
We don't have break room.
I guess I see this as only
I
a
know it
partial
happened, but
solution to a
can't
bigger
have to
issue.
line up.
And you know what? I agree. Put a program together, it'll be discussed. We'll discuss whether we need it at all. I happen to think we do, but that's not part of this resolution.
Need in some part maybe, but not.
It's like anything else. It's only good when you
But
need
just
it.
vote it. Vote it.
Correct.
Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Because Katrina said she looked at it and there's no legal issues with it, I will say yes.
President Fryer.
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad to be rid of it. All right. What's the next item? 2. Now we're going to buy 2 replacement cameras for the DPW and AC power supply in the amount of $1,450 and 1 replacement camera at the DPW for $725 and replace an exterior lot camera at the municipal building for $725. So that's over $3,000.
Can you explain what the cameras are for the DPW, where they are and what they're used for currently? No, Beth, do you know anything about the replacement of the cameras?
Well, I just know that there's 2 cameras that need to be replaced down there. They're the exterior front and rear locks.
Are they broken or
Yes.
non-repairable, I'm assuming?
Right.
Are they still taking pictures right now? Or is it just now, it's inoperable?
You know, I guess there's a backstory here.
Can I ask Brian to come up since he's the expert there, if you guys don't mind?
Just quickly, it's getting late.
Yeah, sorry.
About 2 years ago, we priced out everything down there that sits outside the garage. It's approximately $750,000 worth of equipment that sits out there at night. Okay? You're not gated. You have a gate that's there, but they can walk around. They can drive anything away. Okay? The cameras are there for your protection. They're stealing stuff all over the place at DPWs, all right, within the last 2 years, all right?
Okay.
We know that. So if you want to take them out of certain places, whatever, I'm okay with that. But to take it off your yards,
I didn't know where they were, that's why I'm asking.
they are on our yards, and they are one in our office.
Okay,
That's it.
okay,
Okay?
Thank you.
There's 4 in the yards.
And what do you do? You view what you can do
I
in
have
the
a camera,
office,
I have
you
a-
see the exterior views.
I see the exteriors, but if I go down or something, there's something out of place, something don't quite look right, that's when I come and we see Beth or whatever at this point. And if it goes to the cops, it'd be the same thing, but they're going to get involved anyway. Okay, so I'm okay with taking it to the police, all right, and leaving it there. But to take them away, if you want to take the office away where we're at, I'm okay with that. There's nothing going on there.
no
but-
one was suggesting taking anything away outside, Brian. It was merely just the inside one that we were talking about. I was
Okay.
just clarifying what these cameras were, where they were aimed at and what they were used for. That's all I was asking you.
I really don't want the public to know too much where they're aimed at.
That's fine, you don't need
All right,
to,
all
that's
right,
fine.
fine.
You've given me enough.
Enough said.
Yeah,
All right, you got it,
thank
we
you.
got it. All right,
So it-
motion to approve purchase of these cameras.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes,
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
And
Yes. Approve legal scout project proposed by Jared Sander.
yes, this young Eagle Scout has given us a proposal of what he would like to do over at the pool. He's a member of the St. Jersey Aquatics who use the pool in the very early morning hours, during the sun season. They have a couple racks of blinds that they put out every morning, and they store there over the winter. And he is proposing to, pour a concrete pad large enough to hold these 4-lane reels. He wants to have a shelter over top of it to protect the equipment during, weather. And he wants to have a walkway to move the lane lines from the shelter to the pool. Now, I think this is a great idea. You know, it's a nice little project, but I want permission for Brian Weeks and myself to work with this young man and see where it's best to place it.
Okay,
Do we have a cost?
It's at their cost.
it's all at their,
It's at his
Oh.
cost.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
They want-
Yeah, I
Part of their
agree with
project,
that.
They have to raise their own money.
All right.
Yep, I
Okay,
agree
thank
with,
you for that description. Okay, motion,
we have
second? Do I-
second.
Second, is there any further discussion?
Just, we have that added in there that Brian and Beth will be working with
Yes.
Jared. Okay.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes,
Council President Cryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Resolution 1643, authorize 2016 temporary capital budget for capital improvement projects to include debt authorized.
Yes, you had the
Do we
same
have that?
resolution at the last meeting, but you asked to have the last column eliminated, which was the debt authorized, and Janice, and you were going to be putting it back on at this meeting, because of the refunding bond ordinance.
Right, we can't pay certain bills and receive debt if you do not authorize that end of the ordinance, like we said last week, or last meeting.
okay.
I'm sorry, it was the temporary bond.
Yeah.
Thanks for the intersection improvement.
Can I ask a question of Paul first? Okay. Can I ask a question, Paul?
I was just going to ask him a question.
Go ahead, you go first.
My question was, you were supposed to meet Paul, I think, with Katrina to work out some language here, for some,
Yes, we did, yesterday.
what the letter sent.
Katrina and I examined the agreement and determined what the letter would have to say, and it's at this point, Katrina has to develop the letter.
Right, we wanted to let council know about it before we sent it out.
All right, is that later in the agenda here, that will be discussed?
We can discuss it wherever you want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, my concern is that we get stuck with the whole 850,000, and that would be yucky.
No, wait a minute, we're on the wrong,
What?
we're talking about the 50,000, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about 50,000.
No.
Oh, you're looking at the,
Uh,
he's not looking at the ordinance,
Yeah,
he's looking
you're
at the
looking at
temporary.
this.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
he's looking at. Yeah. that's-
Temporary capital budget to include debts authorized. 4. New business 4.
Yep, it was 1632 last meeting, it's now 1643, because we have to do it again to include that debt authorized column.
I'm looking at what changed?
The last column.
Mayor, last meeting, you and Councilwoman Schneider asked to have the debt authorized taken off because you said you weren't authorizing debt. Now we need to authorize it because you have an introduction and you're going to have a second reading on the bond ordinance. If you don't do it, I can't pay anything. Therefore, the project fails.
So emphatic.
Yes.
I'm sorry, though, the item on the agenda is $50,000. It's that sewer that's eroded, right?
No,
Correct.
no.
Stream?
I don't think you're on the right one.
Yeah, that's
You're
number
You're on
5.
number 5. We're
You're
on
on
number
5, we're
four.
on 4.
We didn't vote on it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We're waiting on 4. 4, it was this,
Right.
the schedule. To reintroduce into the schedule debt authorized column, which was the right-hand column. We had asked that come off because we didn't want to authorize debt at last meeting. And this is all part of a larger thing about, how we safeguard the township against being put in a bad position when it comes to the collection of monies that are intended to repay this debt from other municipalities. So
It has nothing to do with that. This is putting in place mechanisms so that if we do pass this, I can pay for the project. If you don't, then you have to reintroduce it. It stops the whole ordinance.
It's for your 3 projects.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll take a motion if someone wants to give me a motion on that.
Motion.
Second,
Roll call, Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes, because if Janice is saying that this is what we need and this is actually not incurring us $931,000 of debt, I'm going to take our CFO's advice and say yes to that.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you skipped one.
Sorry, Council President Breyer.
Yes.
I did skip you, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Okay. Ordinance 1604, first reading to provide funding for the sanitary sewer collection line realignment adjacent to North Prospect Street for the Township of Lopatcong, appropriating $50,000 for such purpose. This would appear that this is not debt. This is going to be appropriated out of capital. Is that correct?
From sewer.
From the sewer capital fund?
Mayor,
What?
yes,
What?
yes.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. Motion,
I'll make the motion.
second,
Second.
discussion?
Yeah, now I can ask my question. Paul, can we get any out of this from the USDA money?
Not sure.
We had discussions with the representatives of the USDA, and they said we could roll this in. We are supposed to keep an accounting of everything, and that it would be a approved project.
Right, so we have
We have
still
plenty of money.
800,000 in grant money, close to it,
Plenty of money left, too.
yes.
So yes, it was indicated to us that yes, it would be.
So, I mean, it's to our advantage to roll through this grant money.
Yes,
And
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this is a potential project.
yes.
Okay. Vote? Oh, whoa.
Should be right back.
She's back.
Oh, she's back.
She went to check her phone. She'd want to do it in the council meeting. She might be arrested. You know,
Sure. Okay.
what's happened?
Okay, I'm going to roll forward now.
Okay.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McCabe?
Yes. Ordinance 1605, bond ordinance providing appropriation of $300,000 for the South Second Street Improvement Project in and by the Township of Lopatcong, County of Warren, and State of New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $2,003, of bonds or notes financing part of the appropriation. Okay, the rest of it's being financed, I think, by a grant, right, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. My only comment here is I was hoping that we would be able to make this not large cost out of, just out of general funds and out of taxation. It's not a large amount. Every year we make some capital improvements. I am adverse to debt usually, but I will go with whatever the council wants to do, so I'll take a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
No.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McCabe?
No, only because I'd rather see it come out of, not use debt to do it. Ordinance 1607, first reading to establish a Lopatcong Communications Advisory Committee. Now, has this been changed? I submitted this. Did somebody change it, or the way I submitted it? Katrina, did you change it? I'm just asking. I don't,
Everything I made a change to, I emailed you about,
all right, well, things happen around
and I
here.
told you why. I didn't change anything.
I don't think we need to have a communications advisory committee at this time. I think it's just muddling the waters. I also see that you're setting it up so that it's appointed by you only.
Well, I mean, a lot of committees were that way, and you keep changing them.
No, a
but-
lot of committees were not that way.
Yes, they
This
were.
town's
Yes,
run
they
by
They
mayor
were.
and council. They were not.
Yes, they were. That's why we've had all these
Well,
changes.
I
You know, I
disagree
can-
with this one, so you want my opinion,
So
that's
they
it.
never
don't
do.
say something that's not true.
Please, let us be, if anything, honest with each other, please.
That's-
It would be. And in this situation, again, I've given forth my points. I think the communications is extremely important. And I think it's going to be more important going down the road. I would like to have a better control over it. I would like in this case, it would be this committee that would have the control. Now, I sense from what you said earlier that some people feel this committee would be too powerful. And, but what we have now is just a dictatorship. I mean, I don't have any say in what goes into any of this stuff. So to go from a dictatorship to a committee, I thought was a good first step.
Yeah, it's not a dictatorship.
I'm not going to fight with you, Maureen. It's
That's
not worth
fine,
it.
but
It's
we're
not worth
discussing it. We're not fighting, we're discussing.
No.
And you're
But
saying.
I've
your
had
point-
things put on the website where people gave themselves titles and assumed responsibilities they were never granted. And all these things were happening, and I just, okay.
Well, you're
I
gonna
didn't bring it
have
up
to be-
here,
you're
but
gonna
it
have to give a
was,
specific example of that. I don't
I-
know what you're talking about.
we know.
But your ordinance here says 3 to 5 residents to be appointed by the mayor. I don't want residents controlling the communications coming out of this
But
township.
they're employees, right? We
What?
say it for
No,
everything
no,
else.
not, the committee would be folks, I mean, residents, like any other committee, we have volunteers. The people, the person, the webmaster who controlled and does the work would be someone who works for the town. And this way, if they do it wrong, you can get after them. If they're a volunteer, you can't do anything. So,
Mayor, I haven't looked at this because it's more of a policy decision, but I don't know if you've run this by your insurance carrier, but I think that, and I agree, from a legal perspective, I don't know that it's a good idea for information from the township to come from, not the township, to come from volunteers.
it's
Post
not,
on,
it's
but
coming from
I think you're gonna get the same opinion from the insurance carrier.
an employee. I think the insurance carrier stated it should be an employee. Matter of fact, I talked to her about it.
Well, we,
So, an employee is much better because you can keep control of an employee. The worst thing is a public official.
anything that's posted on the website is run through the clerk to see, first of all, if it's allowed to be up on the website. If we have a resident running this, they may not
The
understand.
resident is running the committee, which would provide guidance, it's not operational.
But we have guidance. We have guidance from our clerk, who has the knowledge and the experience.
And, Katrina, just.
So the insurance company's okay with Council Corner being up on our website? Anybody run that by our insurance carrier? That we're out naming residents in it and putting things that aren't necessarily factual on there?
I think
Their
it's all
opinion?
factual.
It is
And
not
it's
factual.
about
It
2
was
or 3
all,
years old at this point, so.
exactly. I've been asking for 2 and 3 years to have it removed.
We can hate what's got it.
So that is
Take it down.
the
It's
epitome
useless.
of what you're talking about right now. We have things up there right now that are subjective, and they should be on there. And if you guys aren't willing to change the subjective when I asked you to, then we need someone else to take charge and do it.
Now, I agreed we want it to be fair. I just asked we put it off for a meeting when we're prepared to talk about.
We keep putting everything off, nothing gets.
Okay,
this
well
is
then
a-
let's table it till next meeting, but we do
No, he
need to
can
look at
offer
the website.
this resolution.
And I said I would be very much, I'll
I'm saying the council
compromise
corner,
on it, I'll
and I'll-
change things,
We can talk about that. I
With
want
this.
it to be fair.
Okay. I think both of them kind of coincide. I'd like to maybe talk about them both at the same time and present it at once, with some guidelines in this.
That's what I want. I want guidelines. I like policies, procedures, guidelines. I don't like everything done one-off, because that just creates all kinds of dissent and problems. You have to have policies and procedures. Everybody is treated equally. That's how you do it, the best results, in my view. Okay. I guess we're going to have to table this. Ordinance 1608, first reading of a refunding bond ordinance for the refunding of the general obligation bonds. First reading, so we just have to approve it, right? Correct, Katrina?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, Mayor, may I tell you, we have our bond counsel here, John Drakowitz.
I'm
In case you
aware of
have
that.
any, okay, in case you have any questions, I just would like to let you know.
Okay. I've spoken to John about this in the past. My only remaining question, I guess, and I had one other question on it. With this, in order to do this, because the bonds there were originally 21-year bonds, or 20 bonds that matured in a serial every year, one matures. Right now, I think we have 12 years left. Is that correct, Bond Counsel?
Yeah, you have bonds maturing through the year 2027.
Yes. Okay. So the way we have to do this is the last 10 years of those bonds can't be refinanced until such time as 10 years expires, and 10 years hasn't expired. So what you would do if you're going to refinance them now is you have to go out and you'd have to get new bonds, and you would get the money and you put it into an escrow account, correct? All right. And the escrow account would be interest bearing, but probably not pay too much.
That is correct.
All right, and we still have to make the payments on the bonds, from the monies, right?
You have to make payments on the new bonds, you have to get paid. That's correct.
Right, okay. And also on the last 2 years of bonds, which would still be outstanding, those have to be paid,
Yeah,
separate and apart from what you show here.
yes, the old bonds will be paid that have not been refunded.
Okay, now, is that latter piece taken into full account in your analysis here?
The answer is yes, Mayor and governing body. The numbers that were presented by an underwriter who was looking at after the debt shows that taking both bonds into account, the new bonds and the old bonds, that there'd be savings of about $260,000. That was approximately a month ago. Rates have improved fairly well since then, so the savings could be actually greater now than $260,000, which is terrific for the.
So over what period, Mr. Drakowitz?
It would start. The bonds are due beginning September of this year and through 2027. So you'd be able to capture savings of this year based upon some estimates that were done, about $23,000 to $25,000 per year starting this.
So we're not extending the duration of the amortization.
That is correct. It would go as long as the old bonds would
So
go.
we end at the same date and we save $250,000.
If we, only if we stay in it for 12 more years. If we were to bail out early, the way it's calculated, it would change.
No, if you do the transaction, those numbers as just stated would be saved by the town and will be locked in when this deal closes.
Right, because it seemed like they reallocated the interest to capture the interest that's not going to be paid on the earlier bond, the two last bonds from the first 10 years, right? They kind of mixed that in and put it down into the remaining 10 years of bonds, some of that interest, right?
No, they just combined it so you can show what the exact savings were paying the old bonds and the new bonds at the same time. That's correct. The old bonds for the council's, mayor's, I'm sure the mayor knows if you look at the numbers, is 4% is what the old bonds are. So current interest rates are around, for a 12-year bond, about 2.25%. So the savings is generated pretty rapidly.
No, it does save money. I'm not sure if it saves quite that much.
Well, it's all subject to market conditions. So you're right, Mayor. It could be going up or down before it moves forward. I would like to mention though, since it's a bond ordinance, it would require at least majority vote for introduction, and it would require at least four affirmative votes at the second reading.
Correct.
When would the closing be?
Typically, a transaction such as this takes about 2 to 3 months to put together.
And the final interest rate would be at the end of that 3-month period?
Yes, it would be set.
So that's the risk, where the interest rates move over the next
between today
3 months.
and the next 3 months. That's correct. Although that's an excellent point, market would move, but the rates have been declining over the last 12 years, and despite economic forecast that rates would rise, as you may recall,
last year sometime. They didn't rise. They kept declining. And they've declined even this year, even more so. So the market has moved in the township's favor
Yes.
over the last
Even
12
some
months.
predict negative interest rates. Some predict. But if we wait for that, we could do better, but we could do worse. No one knows.
Greg, I just want to explain what actions would be undertaken by the governing body so they have full information. There's 2 documents that the governing body would need to approve. One would be this refunding ordinance, which would require first and second reading. And then if you get this introduced today, then at the next meeting in April, there would probably also be accompanied with the second reading of this refunding body ordinance, a resolution, which resolution would authorize a little more specific terms of the transaction, and also would appoint an underwriter to do the transaction. And I would work with the CFO to get the underwriter who's been proposing these numbers to fine tune the numbers and to get that approved if the governing body thinks it's appropriate.
When does the underwriter get his fee at closing?
Yes, really the full question, if I may, would be what costs could be incurred by the township if things sort of go awry.
Yeah, if interest rates spike.
If interest rates spike, really the only cost that would be borne would be the cost to prepare the bond ordinance, which is like $470. And if we move forward, we would need to go get a rating from a rating agency, and and they would charge you a fee that would need to be paid even if the transaction doesn't close. So their fee is usually around $10,000, $12,000 on it. So you have a little risk there once you say move forward with the rating. But we would do that only as we get closer to the sale. So we have that risk minimized. For the savings right now, and these old numbers are about 5.25%, and you need a 3% minimum value savings. The rates probably have decreased since then, so this is probably around 6.5%. So you're fairly safe in the money right now in terms of even if rates move against you a little bit, the deal probably still could get done for savings.
Then all the costs get rolled into the bond?
Yeah, good question. Yes, there will be no out-of-pocket costs for the governing body in terms of this calendar year, included in the cost of the issue. And when I say 5% or 6% savings, $250,000, that's already, the cost is already netted out. The numbers that were distributed to the CFO, I believe the governing body, are not to exceed amounts. They will be reviewed and minimized as we get closer. But these are the worst case scenario for the governing body, and again, the cost of issuance that were in the numbers will definitively be lower. Any other questions? We're more than happy to answer. But if you do move forward, we will probably start the process with CFO, tomorrow, if that's the governing body's intention.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we can use the savings.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Resolution number 1644, memorialize the hire of the tax assessor. Everyone knows tax assessor was hired a while back. He's working. We need to just memorialize that we did do this. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Yes. Mayoral appointments. I only have one, and that's, I did this last time. It's Laura Death Huff for the Rent Leveling Board.
What was that, Mayor?
Her name is, she's submitted her paperwork, Laura Death Huff. She wanted to do planning board, but something happened with the paperwork, but she still wants to serve, last I talked to her, so, we're hopeful that she will be, I think you guys have to consent on that, because it's that board.
So it's rent leveling, you said?
Yeah, rent leveling.
Does she have any experience doing that and researching leases and reviewing the ordinances?
Probably not. She's a volunteer that's just going into it. She's very smart. She does, she's in the medical field. Okay, I'll motion to, for the appointment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is it just one vacancy?
There's two.
Two vacancies?
Yeah, there's two.
Do you want to maybe announce that?
Well,
I don't think the rest of the council knows. Mr. Aiello gave his resignation.
He resigned. Something happened in Florida.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't know that.
the chairperson is down in Florida.
So there's no chairperson.
There's no chair
Oh,
yet.
The chair
person
gets
you nominate.
chosen by the board, but they haven't met to reorganize because Mr. Aiello was in Florida and wasn't going to return until March.
Right.
And I just asked the mayor if we could have a meeting in March. He said Mr. Aiello resigned. So you have one member, and there are two vacancies.
Did Mr. Aiello send a letter in of resignation?
He did, I have.
Okay, could you please give that to me so I can have it with the records, keep
Right
proper
here for
records
you.
of the appointment? So we have a motion and a second.
He's made his appointment, and this is for the advising consent.
And we had a senior citizen come up at the beginning of the meeting and state his concerns that we have someone, qualified that will take care of them and look out for them.
We have Mr. Bangucci, who's
Yes, we do.
aptly qualified. This would be a new person with a little bit of training, I think would be fine.
I think it's an involved
That's how we get volunteers to understand what our boards and committees are. You have to let someone new in to experience it and to have a new, a new skill. And if you keep monopolizing it by just having one person constantly do everything, no one will ever learn how to do the job.
I have no objections. I'd like to get the board going. And we'll see soon enough.
And how long was the appointment?
Hmm?
How long is the appointment? 2 years? What's the term?
I think it's 3.
3 years.
It might be 4, but I think it's 3.
Actually, I don't know. Like, so much paper this meeting. Things like that.
Would you submit that proper term to me also?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we didn't get the volunteer form in our packets either to look at it, right?
I don't have one for Mr. Yanangst either in my packet.
Yes, you do.
Mayor, are you
You have the
supposed to
have an
resolution,
email.
and you have his email where he was asked to be reappointed.
Resolution, but I don't
Or
have his
email.
volunteer form.
Email.
Right, there's not a volunteer
I don't
form.
have her volunteer form. She sent it in here, so I really do have it.
I would just recommend that you state what her term is. I believe Mr. Mangucci, I'm not sure when his term is up, but next year. So there's a term up this year that you could put her in, or you could put her in the 3-year term.
The 3 years.
So
So now I'll find somebody else.
Lorda Cup for a 3-year term on the rent leveling board.
To expire in 18 then?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
you ready for roll call?
Roll
Any more
call.
discussion?
Yeah, ready, ready.
How far do we get? We got.
Yeah, we got a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKinney.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that. Employee Personnel Policy and Procedures Manual. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I come from a background of procedures and policies, and they had to be, extremely robust, and they had to work, and they were verified, and they were observed. We have some stuff like that, but maybe it's fallen out of date. And I've talked to the insurance people, and they offer a service where they'll come in and update the one that you already have, which is theirs to begin with, it looks like. But it's, it's been added to and added to and added to. And so this way we would have something that's, according to the insurance company, extremely up to date. It's the latest that they've got. And they'll help do that. According to.
Yeah, well, we have
Carolyn.
like 4 different policies. It's not just for, the employees. There's one for the municipal pool, there's one for the recreation program, there's one for volunteers.
Right. Volunteers I would say we'll start with the employees one first, and let's get them all done. In reasonable amount of time looked at.
Well, actually, if,
Unless
you
they're
know,
new. If they're new, then we don't
I
have.
mean, the pool's gonna be starting soon, and so is the rec program, so they're all kind of like needing to be, addressed.
So can you do
Yeah.
this?
I mean, we addressed this, last year in the springtime to get these done, so,
All right, well, you talk to Caroline all the time.
yes.
She's got a service that does this, somebody there.
Yeah, I'm quite aware of the service,
Yeah.
that they use. I wasn't aware that they actually come in and do it. I was aware that they have this website, and of course I'm on it, and they have many different policies that you can design your own.
Yes, that's what I've seen. She also told me there were people that could help. Now, I have
Yeah, I'll
not
check
talked to
into
her
it.
for a while, but
Yeah.
that was the idea. So try to get all these done in order so that we're up to date and up to snuff.
And do they charge us for that?
No, I don't
No.
think so, Maureen. So I'm good.
Do we need to make a motion?
Motion, do I have a second?
Yeah, what's
To what?
the motion that just
To
contact?
the insurance company to start this thing rolling.
Yeah, it's a low risk. I mean, you see what they do and you go from there. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
And McKay.
Yes. Actually, what we do have was theirs original, but from maybe 10 years ago, and then we added this.
Yeah, I understand. It's around and it's,
Yeah, it's just a little
use another one.
ragged around the edges. All right, next item is in the Environmental Commission, Rain Barrel Workshop. We have a representative of the Environmental Commission, or 2 or 3 here. Someone left, but
Terribly sorry. I hate to even be the one speaking about this because Alora Novak has been working so hard on it, along with Judy Liptak, who are members of our Activities and Events Committee. But Alora had to scooch out a few minutes ago, so I'm going to present this on her behalf. But maybe you guys want to give me an idea of what's easier for you, because I came prepared also to give you my annual report that I give to the council. So do you want me to do, I can run through it really quickly and we can just do it all at the same time. It's probably the most consolidated way to do it.
We only have one item on the agenda, and we have a full page still to go.
Yeah, so I'll be fast because it's a requirement of the Environmental Commission by our ordinance to produce a report for the council every year.
Donna's got word from her sitter. She's got to go home to one of the children, so.
Okay,
She just needs a minute.
absolutely. And if you guys want to do something more important stuff, then
It's just one, I just would like to, if you don't mind, if I could just have a word before I go, but, because I don't want the bill list to go by without asking. And Janice isn't here. I don't see on the bill list that we have any payments going to our pension benefit plan. And I haven't seen one for a long time.
Actually, you have a resolution on the consent agenda for the pension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well-
Were you just talking about that, the CVRs and PFRs?
Yeah, I want to make sure that everyone is up to date and when our last payment was, because I believe it's been some time.
Well, the fourth quarter payment was not done because our temporary CFO, Christine, didn't want to make it. So it was up to Janice to do it, and she needed to be entered into the state system. And there was a glitch, and we're still having issues, but she made the payment. I'm not sure, it was like a week ago or whatever, but she'll have to explain to you more, but we're on top of it.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure and that,
You're showing on that resolution you're putting into the consent appears to be 1 year's.
I don't know, I didn't make up the resolution, that's Janice's resolution.
yeah. If you can, Mayor, if you can find out when the last payment was made and if there were any loans and if there was any interest and how that's going to be all figured out, and make sure everybody's got what they need to make sure that they're, and
Does this
and
affect people's retirements?
I just want to, yeah, people that may have
No,
been,
it doesn't affect people's retirements. This is just a matter of a catch-up. And Janice, I'll have to talk to you more about it, but I know I had to get on the phone with the state on numerous occasions to try to get her into the system. And, it goes to another system, and then it's 7 to 10 days before they get, back to you with your email and your password. So it's been horrendous.
Yeah. I just want to make sure because we have some employees that,
Yes,
I don't want them to be kicked out of the system because
No, they're not
of the length.
Well, they can't right now see their own statement.
Right.
Nobody's kicked out of the system. Nobody's, the system is still there and we're all in the system.
Okay.
It's just a matter of,
Okay.
the state has not been very cooperative,
Okay. I just want to make sure we're protecting our employees and that their pension benefits are
We're on
intact.
it too.
Okay. Okay. And also there is an employee that started in January that still does not have health benefits. He was never enrolled in the system.
I only was aware of one employee who didn't want health benefits when they were hired.
And then they said yes, and we have to provide.
Well, yeah, but once they say no and you don't enter them in, and then they say yes, they want them at a later date, there's actually only one opportunity in a year's time where it opens up to new enrollments, and that's not until the fall of this year. So Janice was on the phone with the state and explained to them that we were without a full-time CFO. We had a temporary CFO. She wrote a letter, and we're hoping that takes, but if it doesn't, then that's not our problem. That was the employee who was hired with the idea that he didn't want help, that person didn't want help benefits.
When was the enrollment period?
It's right away, when you have to do it within the first, I think, 60 days.
Okay.
Hire.
The first 60 days of hire. And they were hired in January.
No, I don't know who we're talking about here.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because from what I know, and I don't want to
only know
have
the person
names
that was
or,
hired last
yeah,
year.
I don't want to
I
say
don't
any
know if we're talking
employees'
about the same
names.
person.
Yeah, I don't want
We
to,
might want to discuss that outside.
yeah, I just want to make sure, yeah, if you can let Janice know, and I just want to make sure that everyone's benefits are where they should be, and we're not allowing anyone to fall
Everybody who
between the
who
cracks.
was hired and wanted benefits has been enrolled. I only know of one person that didn't and changed their mind, and now, they're subject to, the open enrollment, which is once a year, but we're trying to work with that person to get them in sooner.
So if that
He
person
felt-
was
because that
hired,
person felt there was a misunderstanding, I think.
okay, okay. I just want to make sure I just caught wind of these things.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about.
Yeah, I don't-
things in a public meeting.
No, and
I'd
that's
do it
fine.
in
That's
a-
why I'm not naming an employee. I just want to make sure our benefits are intact, so.
They are.
Okay. All right.
Some things can be, done housekeeping inside.
No, it's,
You could have called me, we could have worked it out.
I just found out right before I came to the
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
and I had no time to call anybody, and now I have to go, so I can't even talk to you then. So,
You can call me tomorrow.
okay,
We'll talk
sounds
about
good.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Sorry, folks.
I'm sorry, Van Barrel presentation.
Sorry, Jen.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you were able to get that finished up. Like I was saying, I also am prepared with the annual report, and I wasn't aware that the agenda item would be exclusively for the Rain Barrel Workshop, which Laura was going to present. So what I'll do, because I know Maureen is concerned with time and we don't have the presentation of the report on that agenda, I will just hand these out to you, and you can review them on your own.
Thank you.
And I will just maybe give you a brief overview of the highlights. There you go. There you go. And then maybe you guys can check these out. If you have any questions, you can bring them to me at the next meeting, and that way we won't take any time with this now. And I will leave this for Donna.
Do you want to put one in your binder? Or your
Yeah.
I think we're missing,
Yeah, I'm aware, we had a couple of that we had to wait a couple of months to get actually approved because we didn't have everyone present at the meetings. So in any event, the
And I
report.
think your last agenda too. I don't
Yeah,
have it. I
yeah.
didn't get up
And
on it.
I'll get all those to you. I have that all in a file in my own house, and I've been meaning to make sure that we have that all straight. But just to, like I said, the basic highlights here, it's been a really exciting year. We have a really great crew. You can see here that we're divided into 3 different committees. We've got events and activities, we've got a site plan review committee, and we've got an outreach and opportunity committee. And you'll see all the names of our commissioners listed there. So if you should have a question, you know which commissioner you would want to speak to. And of course, you are always welcome to reach out to me if you have a question with which I can be of assistance. So been a great year. You'll read about all sorts of exciting opportunities that we've taken advantage of. We've focused very heavily on just learning and getting prepared to be a very effective commission in terms of getting all of our training accomplished. And we developed a mission statement, and it's been a very positive and beneficial year for the community. I'm very proud of everybody that I'm working with. They've been working very, very hard, which leads me to our rain barrel workshop. The issue here is that I believe that the budget is not approved yet for this year. So despite the fact that we generally have a budget which we can use for our programs and activities, because that budget has not been approved for 2016, I wanted to let you all know what expenses we have on the plate right now. We spent no money last year, to my knowledge. I believe that we had planned to pay for our membership in ANJAC, which is the Association for New Jersey Environmental Commissions. But I don't believe they actually ended up charging us, and they even came here and did a presentation. But we will want to join there this year, and we're going to need some supplies for the rain barrel workshop. So in lieu of having an actual budget, I'm looking for approval from you guys. I guess that's what I need. You guys can tell me what the proper procedure is moving forward so that we have a full understanding of what we need to do. But ANJAC membership, in addition to the workshop plans and the training for commissioners who were not trained the first time around, in addition to some costs for our upcoming rain barrel workshop, which is May 20, we just changed the date, 21st, May 21st. That was put off because it was originally scheduled for March 19th, but because of the funding issues, we weren't able to keep it on that date, and we've reset it. So, Mr. Mayor, you can take a look at this. What I've done is ANJAC membership, our rain barrel workshop supplies, and the total here. And that comes to less than $1,000 of potential expenses that we have on the table right
I believe
now.
your budget last year was $5,000.
Our budget was $5,000 last year. Well, we did do the ANJAC. I believe either they were very generous or simply hadn't billed us, which I won't complain to them about, I assure you. But you know, we had thought about some different things, but we did a lot of activities. They just didn't cost us anything. We were running hikes, and we did community day, and we had
in the schools.
We had presentations, and we did a lot of great, worthwhile activities for sure. But they didn't cost us anything. Yeah, well, no, those are actually things that I mainly do through my work, but that I love to have the support of our environmental commissioners for. Stream cleanups do benefit our community.
I guess my question, I think I know the answer to this. If the committee had a budget last year, they pretty much can draw up money this year, right?
I don't know if there was transfers made to pay outstanding bills in 2015.
Well, I'm not saying use 2015 money. I mean, they can go towards this year's budget.
Yeah,
If she's got minor expenses here, she has to, you know, she needs some money.
I'm not the CFO.
I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm assuming it would be 1/12 last year's budget for each of the
I would
3
think so.
months.
Mhm.
I believe, but I am not.
Until you approve
CFO.
the new budget, right now you've approved 1/12 of each for each month going forward. Okay, right. So that makes sense.
Now,
Okay, and that's the.
I've told you need to get your expenses on letterhead.
Yeah, well, we've gotten, this is where I really need some clarification, and I'm not trying to be difficult. I just need to get a general understanding of what it is that we need to do, because we've gotten several different pieces of information, and we've gotten some conflicting reports as to how we need to go about handling this. So we just want to make sure that everything is on the up and up, and that we handle this procedurally along the lines that the community wants it, or the township wants it, so that we're in good shape. So I thought it would be easier for the organization, the Miracle Watershed Ambassadors, to help us purchase the items, as opposed to us going around collecting the items that we need for the workshop. So we could go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and we could purchase all the items that we need for our rain barrels, or they will purchase them for us. And they gave us a supply list, and that number that you have there. But I've been told a couple of different things. I have a request from the mayor to put it on a letterhead. I have a handwritten, I'm not even sure where I put that, but this is what we got in terms of our procedure, and then a purchase order. this that I can't even read.
Well, Beth, what are they? They just.
And I just don't know which one.
A
Which
bill
one?
on a little letterhead? They're
Yes,
talking
they
about,
should submit, if you're getting your supplies from Home Depot.
no,
I'm-
this is a nonprofit.
I'm gonna have the America Watershed Ambassador, she's gonna purchase everything through MWA, Musconetcong Watershed Association.
Well, I would rather the CFO tell you what she wants you to do.
This is what she
wanted
gave
it
us.
on
was-
a letterhead.
Okay.
All right. We're talking about, I think, 25 rain barrels. The rain barrels themselves are being donated by Coca-Cola.
Yes, and I can get into those details a little bit also. See, what Janice had asked for was just an estimate, email it to Beth, and you'll approve.
Right.
And then we have.
The estimate I gave it to, she said, no, she wants on letterhead. So, get it for her on a letterhead.
Okay, I'll see if we can get that on letterhead. So, but as long as I know that the money's approved, we'll figure out the procedures with you later. I also just very quickly, I don't know if I have enough for you, but here's a little bit of information on rain barrels for those of you who aren't familiar.
I think the total cost of this is going to be about $500 to make 25 rain barrels, so that's $20 each.
Yeah, it's going to be really affordable. Rain barrels are a
And these
really
are
effective way.
55-gallon drums.
They slow down stormwater. I don't know if you live in a community where you have flooding basements, but anything that you can do to slow stormwater when it rains, it can be very, very beneficial. Also, I happen to know, the condition of our local stream, and we do have some contaminants, and a lot of those contaminants, come from our stormwater in our community. So anything that we can do to help mitigate that through something as simple as a rain barrel is very beneficial. So again, May 21st, I would encourage you guys all to come. We will have many very well-educated and informative professionals there to explain to us what a rain barrel is, how it works, and they will guide us through the process of building them. And we'll allow any resident who wants to come in, as long as space allows, to go ahead and make one. So we are really looking forward to that. It's going to be not only a very informative activity, but it's going to be a very beneficial activity for the community.
And hopefully next year you can make 50 and then 100.
And then we'll just keep making them, that's right. And then maybe we'll have a painting contest later, and all that stuff. But anyway, again, as far as the annual report goes, I'm sorry we don't have a lot of time. I didn't get to go through that with you, but if you do have any questions for me, please feel free to ask at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Oh, one more question.
Yeah.
We're all set with insurance for our activities as well. That came up again also.
I thought they
Getting
were
some
insured.
mixed information.
I should send off a write-up. If you want to send me a write-up, I'll send it off to the insurance company.
Do we need to do that every time we have something? Is that how?
It's usually go right through the insurance company, yeah.
Okay, so that's every time we do something, we should let you know that it's happening.
Even if they go into schools?
I
I
don't
think they're going to teach classes.
No, I've never gone on behalf of the Environmental Commission into the schools,
All right,
but yeah, so, okay, I'll let you know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Labor Council Attorney, discussion regarding contract received from Ryan Carey. I don't know what that discussion involves, but I'm waiting to hear.
I believe Mr. Carey sent a letter saying you told him that he was appointed, and he sent his contract. So Beth didn't know what to do with it and put it on the agenda.
Oh, well, since I have the right to make that appointment.
No, you do not. And the judge is going to decide, so I recommend you wait.
Well, I intended to wait until to the 11th, I think, is the next time we go to court.
Mhm.
And so we will wait. Resolution 1645, creating regional special master escrow. And Resolution 1646, creating municipal special master escrow. These are COA-required matters for the COA litigation that's currently outstanding.
They're not COA-required. They are related to the affordable housing. They are COA-related. I sent Mayor and Council a detailed letter explaining the judge's orders that came in, which require the township from its COA trust fund to place $5,000 in two separate escrow accounts. It also requires Mr. Gardner to put $2,000 into both escrow accounts.
Yes.
He is the intervener in the case. And then there's some procedures for the regional special master is all of the county, Hunterdon, Warren, and Somerset County towns. So when the regional special master's bill comes in, it gets split about 56 different ways, and then we get a bill and we pay it. The municipal special master is a LOPAT-specific special master. Her bills at about $250 an hour are going to come to the township, and we are required within 30 days to pay those bills. So I
Okay.
just wanted
So in order to stay into this litigation, we
this
have
is
to
what
do
the,
this.
this is what the court ordered, but I wanted Janice to have a formal document so she knew how to follow the procedure.
Okay, I concur, and on motion that we approve these two resolutions. Second?
I'll second. Okay.
All right, roll call, please, Beth.
Yes. Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes. Now, I don't know. I didn't know what, there's so many agendas here. I think I ran out on one agenda, but there may be more on this one. The 2016 season pavilion pool party rates. You provided those. They seem to be reasonable.
Yeah, I gave you, this is the time of year again where we get all the contracts out the door, for pavilion and pool party rentals, and I just wanted to give you a little brief analysis of what we've been charging, and if there is any changes that you wish to make before we send them out.
I have no changes. They seem, like I said, they seem reasonable to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems reasonable as well. Is this the same rate as last year, or is it a slight?
No, they're all the rates from last year is
Okay.
what you're looking at.
Okay,
So no rate increase, correct?
okay.
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
Do you want to rate increase?
No, we'll leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't know if the market would bear it.
Right.
I say leave it.
We have a lot of
Yeah.
activity in the rentals, and this helps bring in the income, so, yeah. I don't want to price this out.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor McKay?
Yes. Some of these are new, and I don't know if I have them, but I think I saw this, but I don't have it with me. Maybe I looked at it on the computer. A train and teach workshop for consideration at the municipal park. Now, this is where two women wanted to have 6 a.m. in the morning
Like a boot camp.
thing, like for 10 days at the park.
Yeah, this young woman, Robin, came into the building and expressed an interest in doing a train and teach workshop. She wants to do a spring boot camp and a fall boot camp, and she has submitted all of their credentials and her insurance, and she's looking for consideration to try it out, see if, anyone's interested in doing it. She expects to charge, $200 a person. So if you approve it, then I would send it on to the insurance company to see what they have to say about it.
It's a for-profit operation now, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the township. And she wants to use the park for free.
Well, no, she would have to fill out a field use form, and she's using the entire park, not just one field.
Okay.
And that category that she falls into, it's $5 a day per camp person, and then it's $50 a day to the town besides. So
Well,
there's a
from my
big-
viewpoint, it's not that much different than an outside soccer group coming in or something like that. It's a rental.
Mhm.
We can run it through the insurance, make sure we don't have a problem. She should be fully insured, correct?
She is fully
She
insured,
submitted-
and she
she
would
submitted.
list us as additional insured for what is required by the
Yeah, so it
insurance
seems to me
company.
it's just a rental if we have the right rate.
Mhm.
I don't know why we
No, I agree.
prevent it.
Okay, motion.
Motion.
Second. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. I don't know, these next two, ordinance 1609 to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit to establish a cap bank.
Yes. These two items are housekeeping items. Last year, the state had, and this is for the CFO, but I don't know how to. Last year, we were examined by the state, and now the next 3 years, we do a self-exam. So the auditor did forward these two items to us to act on this evening. We do the cap bank, irregardless of the self-exam, we do the cap bank every year.
I mean, do we have, was a resolution given to us to look at?
You have both the cap bank ordinance and resolution in your packet,
I don't know if I do.
and they were forwarded to you earlier so that you can review them.
The cap bank is the same that you do every year. It's to bank and exceed the cap.
Yes. And you have to do it, otherwise you cannot use your bankable amounts.
It allows you to go to 3.5% instead of 2.
If necessary, and you have to adopt it before introduction.
And who has self-examined the budget?
Who is self-examining the budget? That would be me.
Well, I mean, what are we resolving here? I have to see.
Self-examining means that we just don't have to submit it to the state of New Jersey for their authorization. We self-examine our budget under my license.
So this has been performed already?
I'm sorry?
You've already done this self-examination?
We don't have a budget yet. How would I do that?
No. I'm just trying to read this in context with that.
We're doing ordinance to establish the cap bank, right? 1609?
Yeah.
Every year you have to,
Okay.
otherwise you can't use whatever you bank, you lose it.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll make a motion on that.
I mean, because the other one seems like it's not ready to be done yet because it's saying that all these things have been done.
But that's the next item, right?
You have to adopt that before you even introduce, otherwise it wouldn't be here.
Do you know that? Purpose?
Yes. We had a lengthy discussion last year because it wasn't a self-exam year. It was a send down to Trenton year because there was
Right,
a
I
lot of
remember that.
questions
Right.
about the budget, a lot of critique about the budget, and there was a discussion about self-exam. And the discussion was, well, this year we're sending it down to Trenton. And now we're back on the self-exam. So for the next 3 years, you'll be at
Okay.
self-exam. you
But
don't
even though
have
this reads as if it's happened already, that's broken.
Yeah, you don't have a budget yet, so it has to be done once there is a budget. This is the form
You have
resolution.
to, you have to introduce, you have to adopt that before you introduce, stating that you're going to perform those duties once you have your budget in place.
We didn't have this before, I'm sorry.
Well, last year we didn't have. a
We didn't have
self-exam.
it, right.
We went to the state.
Okay. So ordinance number 1609 to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit and to establish a cap bank. Motion?
I have a motion from Councilwoman McKay.
Second.
Oh, second, okay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro. Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Then resolution 1652, self-examination of the budget. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
It's dueling seconds. All right, come on. All right.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, before you move to the consent agenda, would you like Paul and I to discuss the folks in this section?
There's two things on the consent agenda that I don't know if this will.
You can pull them out.
Yeah, one was, no, maybe they got pulled out. There was something about Gibbons. Oh, Gibbons. Now that's money, so shouldn't that be up in the, because that's his
There's a
public
lot of other
service
money.
agreement. Yeah, but his professional services agreement, shouldn't that be up in the,
Wish to pull that one out and have discussion. The reason that they were put in consent agenda was believed by the clerk when she was putting it together that there may not be a need for discussion on each item, but you're still going to do a roll call vote, which is what you do when there's money involved.
but you have to
So
do it
if
for
you
each
wish
one,
to
right?
pull it out because you want to have a discussion, by all means.
Would you do roll call on each one of these or no? You
No,
usually
you
do one
would,
roll
you
call.
would one roll call vote.
Right.
But if anyone wishes to pull any item out, they should absolutely state that, and you can pull it out before you do the motion. I was just asking before you even
All
got to
right.
the consent.
I mean, I think we can go through them fast. I would pull out 6 and 8 and 9, because I don't know what those mean. And so let's do 6 of the consent agenda. Approve the professional service agreement with Gibbons PC with regard to matters involving public finance. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Wait, what are you doing?
We're approving the contract with Gibbons PC.
Oh,
for the
okay,
year.
okay. I thought you were pointing out to discuss after. Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Del Caro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Mikel.
Yes. All right, then number 8 was Resolution 1653, authorizing the transfer between the 2015 budget appropriation reserve in the amount of $13,200 per NJSA 40A:4-59 from unexpended balances to those with insufficient funds. Now, does this mean what we're doing is reallocating what's left over in 2015?
Mayor, you already voted upon Mr. Nixon's approval of $10,000. That's shifting money so that we can pay Mr. Nixon.
That's what this is?
Contribute, yes. And some overexpended last year appropriations.
All right, I'll take a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Second? Roll call, please.
Councilman Del Caro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Mikel.
Yes. All right, next one, Resolution 1654, wherein the township is expected to enter into contracts, commitments, and payments prior to the 2016 budget adoption, NJSA 40A:4-20, provides for temporary appropriations and PERS of $144,944 and PFRS of $314,208.
That is the township's portion of the payment of PERS and PFRS. Public Employee Retirement System, Police, Fire,
Pensions.
Retirement
Yes.
System.
Is that for 2016 or?
It's 2015, it's always adjusted the following year, and you have to pay that according to what the pensionable IROC contributions were last year.
So despite
You
what
pay
happened
for the whole year.
It's the township's portion,
For what year?
last year.
So we're paying last year's now?
Everybody does it in the state.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you.
And you
everybody
could be a
does
little more, no. Cool.
it. It's fine.
So you're saying that this is, everyone else is paying this, because this looks like a whole year when I look at the audit report. It's a whole year of pension payments.
It's the township's contribution for the whole year of last year.
And that was, this is being timely paid, because earlier we heard there was some issue with,
There were no issues.
Donna had brought up, while you were gone, that she wanted to know about the pension payment, where it stood. So I explained to her that fourth quarter payment was not paid by Christine. She left it for you. And by the time we could get you entered in the system, which was no easy task, some people have been trying to view their statement on the site and you can't get to it. So she was combining one with the other, and it wasn't. It's two different items.
Yes.
And I assured her that that payment has been made.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
so this is unrelated to that.
Yes.
One would think it might be, since it's the same,
Well, one would
Same
think it might
expense.
be because the two issues occurred,
yes.
kind of.
All right, so we're paying 2015, which is the normal time we would pay that, a year into
It's
the
due
year,
April 1st.
end of the year. Okay.
Motion.
Second?
Roll call that Councilman Del Caro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Yes. All right, there's an announcement, special meeting March 21.
No. Here's the consent agenda. That's the remainder of the consent. I'm gonna ask if you want to just hold the consent.
All right, let's do the rest of the consent agenda, then you guys can do Phillipsburg High School. All right, the remaining items in the consent agenda, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. I'll take a motion for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarra?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor
Yes. Okay, Katrina?
Okay. Mr. Sturbins and I met yesterday. He provided me with a copy of the mayor's estimate on what he believes may be the allocations of the funds. Paul and I went through it, and we made some changes to it because we put everything in. Everyone's expense, Phillipsburg's, Lopatcong, the whole project's expense. And I don't know if you want to go through line by line by line, or you want to just know the bottom line of what we think everyone still owes.
Well, let's do the bottom line.
Okay. So, Lopatcong, in addition, Paul, correct me if I get any of this wrong.
Right.
Lopatcong, in addition to the $100,000 you've already said that you would contribute, would owe another $133,000. Phillipsburg, in addition to the $100,000 that they have said they would contribute, would owe another $133,000. Now, for Phillipsburg, what we'd actually be looking for them to actually give to Lopatcong is $183,000
$50
because they're going to hold on to the 50 for their allocation. But what we will want from them, I'm going to recommend what you would want for them, is an accounting once they are done that we receive the 50. I'm going to recommend everyone do their accountings, but that is a particular item. So the actual cash that would be coming in and held in Lopatcong would be from them $183. The school board has already given $150. So in addition to the $150, you'd be looking for another $133. So it's a total of $283,000 from the school. Now, that is based upon the estimate for the hard cost, the soft costs, and all of that.
Yes.
The bid has come in underneath the hard costs,
Yes.
so we're hoping the project will come in less. And in that case, all three parties will get money back. Also, if we can, do some of the takings for a little less, money back. If we get money from the county, the SDA, anyone else who wants to give money to widen the road, the money will go back in equal shares to the three parties.
Right, and we're going to keep this money in a special purpose, like trust account.
I
or
believe we
escrow
already
account.
have the 150 in a special.
We have an
And
escrow
then
account.
when the bond comes due in a year, it's going to be a BAN, I guess, right? So when that comes due in a year, those funds will be used to retire.
That part is kind of beyond my scope. I was just
Yes,
going through.
we
the-
don't want to be in debt. to
Correct.
retire.
Oh, absolutely. So Paul, did I miss anything?
No.
And it should be noted, Paul did a good thing. He got the power company not to charge us $30,000 to move the poles around.
Yeah, it was Verizon, $38,000,
Oh, Verizon,
so they're not going to charge us. They're going to do this as a non-refundable project, and I have to get communications out with both JCP&L and the cable company to make sure that they follow suit with what Verizon did, so they don't charge us as well. So I'll have those communications out before the end of the week.
So before I sent that letter out, I should say, in addition to the numbers I just gave you, in case anyone was adding up those numbers, I'm missing the $300,000 grant from DOT. So if you're wondering why, the total is $1,050,000 is the estimate for the project. Is we're putting everyone's in, including Phillipsburg's cost for allocations, everything. So the reason I wanted to bring it here to you, I wanted to go over that before I sent the letter out. I wanted to make sure everyone is aware of these numbers before you hear Phillipsburg got a letter demanding $183,000. I want to be very careful, and I'm going to ask Paul to look over my letter to make sure we clearly state this is, the cost, and if we get money from the county, we get money from SDA, it will go back in equal shares, and that we've reviewed the agreement, and this is part of the agreement. We just kind of want to word it perfectly so it doesn't get thrown back on Lopatcong. That's why I wanted to bring it here before I wrote the letter.
All right, that is what I wanted done. I think you did a good job.
Well, I've read the agreement, and this is in accordance with my understanding of the agreement. This is a deposit, and whatever the actual costs are less the deposit, they get strung out three ways.
But this way we have the money.
Yeah, could I just see real quick, do you have the breakdown there?
I don't exactly. I have my notes over the mayor's breakdown,
Don't worry about it.
but I have to put it in writing anyway, so I'd have to email you a copy.
Okay.
I'll email all of council.
Yeah, I just want to see how we got the 233.
It was 100,000.
No, I know, but there's expenses against that, right? So we had the bid costs, we have the land.
Yeah, it's everything.
I know.
I gave
That's
her-
all I want to see is what everything.
850 is the hard
There's
cost.
$1,050,000 in anticipated cost, and right now there's $650,000 in contributions.
Right.
So the shortfall at this juncture in time is $400,000 that gets split
Yeah.
three ways.
Yeah.
But if it helps you, Joe, 850 was the hard cost,
Yeah.
and then the soft cost, including acquisition, is
Okay.
everything else.
And the low bid of the contract was what, 735?
So if we could stay
Approximately,
at-
yes.
But if we could stay at that.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's going to help.
So now I'm not as concerned as I had been. I was worried about a huge hit to the Lopatcong this way. Maximum we're going to be, this is 233. So. Okay. Now, we're going to do council reports.
No, we have an announcement there.
Oh, I started to read that. Special meeting, March 21, 2016 at 7 p.m. This will be the second reading and public hearing of the bond ordinance for the Belvedere Road / Roseberry Street intersection improvement project for the new high school and payment of bills. So it'll be two purposes, right? Payment of bills. Now we go to council reports. I hope they're not long. Maureen, do you have council reports?
Yes, sure. Just as a reminder, Bill Nixon was here earlier about the veterans. They are still accepting the donations for the pavers. Some of the flyers, they'll say, end date of February 29th. It's an ongoing thing. So don't hesitate. If you think you missed the date, you didn't, they'll gladly accept further donations. Senior citizens. We have a flyer, some pamphlets in this building for the senior citizens. It's from Warren County Division of Aging and Disability Services. If you'd like a copy, come into the building and we can get you some. I am working on trying to get this on our website so that you can just access it through our website. And it just details the services that are available through Warren County. I spoke to them. They stated that, they've been told that some people didn't know they existed. So they exist. Here's their information. It may be of some assistance. School board. Everyone or most people may know there's a referendum vote coming up on March 8th. The voting will be from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. You may have received your sample ballot already. If not, it's coming. This is regarding their, shortage of the $600,000. So.
Oh, and it's from 3 to 9?
3 to 9, sorry.
And if I could just remind everybody, whoever went to the emergency squad, you should have all gotten a card. Your voting districts 3 and 4 are now at the First Baptist Church, and the entrance is in the side. Don't go to the front door. They'll probably cone it off, so they'll steer you to the back for parking, and then you'll see that side entrance.
Right, okay. And 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. for voting. Okay. And if you need more information on that, it's on the LopatConSchool.org website. Okay, I'm meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at middle school? Okay. Yes, further information is on their website. They're having Day of Arts on Saturday, March 5th, and that's from 10 to 3 as well. Bookkeeping, Easter egg hunt is on March 19th. There's no Easter egg hunt people here at this hour, but however, March 19th, starting at 10 a.m., toddler through 9-year-olds. You're not allowed to go if you're beyond 9 years old. Rain date, March 20th. Dog licenses, they're overdue, due by the end of January. $2 a monthly fee. You can still pay them. Come June, if you haven't paid, there'll be a summons sent out. What else? Sewer, I forgot to ask. Have we sent out our sewer bills yet for first quarter? Do we know? Sewer bills? Sewer bills, do we know yet when they're going out? We don't.
Rachel is in the process of sending them out right now. She has the check for the postage, everything's good.
Okay. I know you're eagerly awaiting to pay another bill, but sewer bills are on their way. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
You want me? I have a simple one.
I always want to hear from you, Joe.
Mayor Kern invited myself and Donna last night. Donna could not make it. He's interested in sharing his court Here's a brand new court. It's ADA accessible, it's video equipped. They've already signed an agreement with Greenwich. Greenwich is just about to start the second year, I guess, of a 3-year agreement. They would like to take on a second partner, and they want to know if we'd be interested. I understand our agreement with Harmony expires in June. They would, of course, host the court. What I suggested, the easiest way to do it, since they want to host it, I should send us a proposal. And it's something we would go from there. So that's in motion. Something will come in and it'll be there for discussion. And somewheres down the road, we'll either have to accept that or go another way. So we should have something in 2 weeks.
We're losing Harmony, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the end of this month?
Our agreement was up the end of the year and they chose not to renew it. They're moving, I think, to Belvedere in June.
So we do have them till June, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't you just appoint a judge for 3 years though?
Subject to termination on 30 days notice. Not, I'm sorry, not
That was
judge,
the public defender.
the public defender.
No, the judge was just appointed.
Last meeting?
For a reorg meeting
Oh,
for
yeah.
3 years.
Don't they have the same judge? No, they don't have the same judge.
Didn't Greenwich just go through that where they had to pay their judge?
They did. We'll look into it.
No, it's one of the things that would
Have to look into it.
kibosh the deal.
Then no deal till 3 years. Oh, my
Well,
God.
unless he hears our stuff down there and makes some sort of
Right.
arrangement for savings outside of that.
That could be part of your shared services, that your judge comes in for your cases.
That could be part of the agreement. Right.
Right. Just so you know, any agreement that you come to has to be then approved by the AOC.
Okay. That's the one I didn't have.
Yeah.
Lou.
I have 3 reports. I'll try to summarize them. We have a resident on Stonehenge. She lives alone. On January 16th, she had some company, and because of the extra flow into the sewer, it backed up. So she called her company. She has insurance with. They came out the very next day. They put a camera in there, and there's a root problem. And it's in the street, so when it falls into the street, from the curb out, it's Lopatcong Township's responsibility. So this will fall on Chapman. So I don't know what it's going to cost to send a subcontractor in there to rotor this root and also to stop it from continuing growing into her sewer line. So we need Chapman to come out there. I'd just like to have authorization to do that.
Okay, motion to give Lou authorization to do that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Council President Fire?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Second report, another issue, and this was on Stonehenge. We have some leakage that's coming up through the ground, and we're not sure what it is. I know DPW had opened up 2 different areas in front of the residents, and nothing was found. So the least expensive way to go about this, because the Warren County Health Department is involved now, and they want to know what's going on. So the least expensive is to send again another subcontractor to dig to find out what the problem is. There was a leak this morning that came up. According to Brian, it's clear. There's no odor, but we still have to investigate. This can cost between $5,000 and $10,000. It's going to be a lot more expensive to do another option to that. It costs minimum $20,000, and that is to send a ball that does some kind of reading as it travels through the sewer line, the main sewer line, and has sensors in it. Very expensive. So let's go to the least expensive and just dig, and hopefully they will find out what the problem is. So we need authorization to, to spend
not to exceed $10,000. To find out the
That
pond.
sounds right.
The resident's been complaining, how long, Brian? About a year now? Close to a year now.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yeah, it does. That was an old force main, and that station was abandoned, and when Stonehenge went in, and this is back a while ago, the contractor, actually Larkin, was allowed to reuse that force main. So we've had, I know one leak I worked on, and I guess this is either the second or the third. And like Lou said, they have technology, we call it a smart ball, and shoot it up there, but smart balls are expensive.
They get lost.
No, they get them out. But
like a boomerang, they come back.
yeah, this is puzzling because it's intermittent. They put dye down there, and the dye never came out. It's remained clear. And the water company has said it's not their problem. So.
Which end of Stonehenge is this? Is this near the bar
This
house?
is, no.
Your pump station?
It's
Pump
just
station?
before the pump station, about a block before. Right. Now, if the contractor does find it, it's an aqua problem, and of course, then we'll refer the bill back to them,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll leave that open for that.
All right, motion to permit Lou to explore this matter with a budget up to $10,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay?
Yes.
Council President Fryer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I got one more. As we know, in the fourth quarter, we had an invoice for a sewer, which was $398,000. Dan Manning went back and with Phillipsburg, and they were able to revisit that, and they came to an agreement, which will be an average quarterly flow of the cost of $240,000, and also does not include the payment in lieu of taxes, which is an additional $36,000. And we do that once a year.
That's about what we paid.
Yes, right. So everything is
Right,
it's
so-
coming back to normal with the quarterly average.
All right, the next bill that comes in, please talk with me about it so we know. Make sure we got it right, 'cause we did send that estimated payment. Now, how about going forward with the estimates? Are they going to revert back to the normal flow and not use that ridiculous high flow?
Well, since they came to this agreement, I would assume that, yes, they would do that. But we'll wait till the next invoice.
Okay. So that's how they base it, they use the average.
And that concludes my
Okay, so
report.
that's out of our worry now. Good. They'll probably send us a small bill for the difference, or they owe us a little bit. I can't remember the exact amount we settled with them, or that we.
It's about $800.
Yeah, that's pretty close estimate.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, that was good. All right, I guess, do I have any reports? Let me see. I think we noted that our friend Aiello resigned from the Rent and Leveling Board, so we did that. We did this. We did this one. Oh, a while ago, Paul, I asked you to look into that emergency access thing for Overlook, to get out of Overlook. And you had gone over and you took a look at it, you drove around. And I think you said you needed something else to complete your analysis on that.
I completed my analyses and I sent an email report to the council members.
You sent it to, really?
Yes.
With pictures? Yeah, but there was no final, or all right, maybe I missed it. What was your conclusion? Can we build the road? Do we have
The fencing that I guess surrounds the solar array at that location is set about 40 feet off the property line. So you have 40 feet of real estate there. There is a wooded area within that 40-foot swath there. In some cases, that wooded area is probably anywhere 24, 25 feet wide, at least in the beginning, which is leaving about a 15, 16-foot area that's open at this point, that you wouldn't have to clear trees to install an emergency access road. But that wooded area does expand and extends all the way up to the fence as you get closer to Overlook, so there would be some clearing. The trees that are there, however, are I wouldn't characterize them as being very high quality trees. In fact, a lot of the vegetation that's in that area is understory or sticker type bushes at this point. So I think it would be very easy to clear that area. The ground is fairly flat. So it was my opinion, and I don't have that email with me tonight. It was my opinion that a roadway could be built in that area, paralleling that fence, to provide the emergency access route to and from the Overlook development.
And it goes, the property of the solar field that has been given to us by easement goes all the way up to the fence of Overlook?
I don't know if there's an easement. I just know that there's enough real estate to put a driveway in that would connect to the driveways that already exist that go out to Stryker's Road.
Wasn't there an easement, Maureen?
Yes, we
Yeah,
had an
there's an
easement. I don't know where it is, but we had an easement to access across that
I
property.
wasn't sure if that farm that's up there was in between, kind of like, if you'd have to cross that farm.
No, I didn't think we had to.
No.
It was straight in and then make a right and then.
And then you make
There's,
like another
there's a
left.
driveway that's, I guess it would be L-shaped. It comes in from Stryker's Road. It turns 90 degrees to the south, going to a gate that allows maintenance vehicles into the solar array.
Yes.
And then at that point, if you turn to the left, you're in that cleared swath between the trees and the fence. And then that's where the new roadway would have to be built, extending eastward to the Overlook property line.
Right. So that it could be.
So it's my opinion, it is feasible. You have a little bit of clearing of understory and sticker bushes and some junky trees, in my opinion. It's pretty flat there. And I think it's very possible to build that type of roadway, in my opinion.
Then I would like to make a resolution that we ask you to go and give us a cost estimate for building that road as it was promised to the people. Overlook a long time ago, and they keep asking me about it.
Okay.
And it is really needed. I mean, there's no other way out of there in case of emergency. So I would put forth that resolution. Do I have a second?
For Paul to develop a construction cost estimate?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you.
I think part of the problem too, back at the time, was discussed that the road had to be sturdy enough to support, I think, the fire truck.
Fire apparatus.
And emergency equipment, and there was some issue about that as well, so, probably anything can be done, but it's a matter of money.
Right. No, I mean, if let's find out what it would cost. That's the first step, right? Okay, roll call.
Councilman Del Caro,
To investigate this, sure.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Yes. All the other ones we've covered, thank goodness. So that's it for I don't have any more. Okay, engineers report. CFO's report.
I don't have much information to report this time, except for the fact that I've requested that the department heads definitely submit their budget within another half a week. And the budget process is rolling as I'm going to set up meetings next week for all the department heads to go over salary requirements and or request for overtime due to workload.
Okay. Thank you for your report. Report of engineer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items on the high school roadway improvement project. We did receive an open bids. The low bidder was a company from Bergen County, Zuccaro. I have met with Sal Zuccaro to review his bid. I have to check some of his references, and my goal is to finish that reference check so that I could issue an opinion to you as to whether or not you should award a contract to that particular contractor. And that would be done before the meeting on the 21st of March.
Okay, so we're going to cover that at that meeting.
Yes.
All right, so that would go on the that need to go on the agenda.
And then secondly, on one of the capital ordinances we discussed earlier in the meeting having to do with the North Prospect Street sewer line problem,
Yes.
I did prepare plans for that. I did send that a set of plans to 4 contractors. It was our belief that that work would cost $40,000 or less beneath the bid threshold. Surprisingly, we only received 1 quote, and that quote was in the amount of $43,000. It was from Dulane. I asked the person in Dulane if he'd be willing to lower his price to $40,000 or less so we could award a contract without having to go to bid, and they are not willing to do that. So it's my intention to send the plans out to the contractors again, maybe some new contractors, and see if we can get some better pricing for this work. Because I certainly don't want to, at this juncture in time, prepare a set of bid documents including specs and have to go the public bid route. It's really not what we wanted to do on this project. We thought that we could have this project done for less than $40,000. We're only talking 90 feet of sewer line.
Yeah, but it's a tough place to get to, right?
Well, the homeowner, and their name is escaping me right now, the Potzes, yes, thank you. The Potzes gave a very large temporary construction easement for vehicles to get into the work area. So it's not as imposing as what a contractor may think. There's a lot of real estate in that property to get into the work zone. So I'll be pursuing some new quotes on that.
Okay, I meant to ask you another thing, if I might, Paul.
Sure.
The issue of the man gate between Lopatcong Park and the new high school property. I know that's gone back and forth. The fence there, that's their fence, right? That's the school's fence.
The fencing, including the gating at that particular location, was installed as part of the Phillipsburg High School project
Black Phillipsburg High School.
by contractors involved with the School Development Authority.
All right, so we
We did not.
all right, so if we want to put the man gate in, what's required to do that?
I think the first thing we need to do is find out where that fencing is located. That fencing may not be on our property.
Would it matter? I mean, if they agree to it.
Well, it's not on our, if it's not on our property, we would need permission to do that.
Yes.
So if we, I guess theoretically, if we got the permission to put a man gate in there, then I think we can go and do it. I just can't tell you because I don't have a survey drawing that fencing is located.
That survey would be,
Yeah.
well, it's only one line. How much that?
Well, I would suggest that you reach out for the superintendent, George Shando, or if you want me to do that.
Yeah, you could do it if you'd like. Who's your buddy?
I thought we had discussed this already about if you want to actually use that gate then? Is that your intention?
Only as a man gate, not for cars. Just like a little, the kids can walk through it.
But then our problem was, getting back to the problem at the time, I thought we discussed that now we're going to have to maintain that park in the fall, in the winter, the off seasons, and we don't currently do that. So now we're going to be expending manpower, time, energy, money to do that, something we don't do. So I don't know that that's.
I thought we did keep the roads open in the park.
Not in the winter.
Right?
No,
Oh, no, we don't do the,
no.
That's going to strain our crew.
That's-
we ever filed a spot for kids in the parking lot to sleigh right down.
Because if you get involved in that, now you're on their schedule. That was the problem.
Yeah, to maintain it.
Our
solve it.
DPW, it's the streets, it's the township. I mean, now if we impose something like that, now we're gonna
Now
be
we're
on the school
responsible.
schedule. And what if they have events on the weekends? We don't work weekends, so now do we have to clear that
That's not
town?
the biggest problem. If you go up there after a rainstorm, all right, that whole entire road is full, about 6 inches of wood. All right, that creek that's up there becomes alive. All right, and then we ought to control kids to not come through that. All right, you can't have them walking through that. I mean, it's boring. That's why the road is getting destroyed up there.
So now we're into liability issues.
Maybe I can shed a little bit of light on it. I certainly don't speak for the Phillipsburg School Board, nor do I speak for the superintendent. I have been involved with discussions that we would like to put a permanent fence on the school district property. That was never meant to be anything more than a gated emergency exit. The problem I have with it on the township side is it would not just be our students that would be using that. I would think that once the parents from the other sending districts found out that they had another option of picking their kids up, they would probably be going up there too, but I don't know that. You'd have to take a wait and see approach on that. But I can tell you that as the director of facilities, it would certainly be my recommendation to Mr. Shando and the school board to put a fence on that particular property, because quite honestly, with the money that we put into those soccer fields and everything else, I really, I really don't want that interaction between the two athletic sites. So you can certainly reach out to Mr. Shando. It's not my intention to speak for him or the school board.
I understand.
That's where I'm at with it.
I can add a little bit to the conversation too. I've been looking into this. I'm very, very concerned with the safety of the intersection for our students that are walking. And let's be clear about this. This is our students. We're talking about Lopatcong students. I don't want to see them, and my kids are going to be walkers. They're going to have to be. And this route can cut off at least a quarter mile from that route. And it's also going to avoid the intersection, the very, very busy intersection. We've got at least 4 access points coming into the existing high school. This is going to cut down to 1 access point. Everybody's funneling through the same location. I want to see them avoid this. I had some conversations with Mrs. Trent. I'm not going to speak for her, that she is the principal of the high school, and she 100% supports students being able to walk and bike to the school. And when I asked her if she would have an issue with opening up that gate, she said no. I would not have an issue with it at all, but I'm not going to do something that's, against the town's desire. But she has no concerns at all about keeping that gate open for the students to access. She'll supply bike racks, whatever she needs to do. She supports this. The school supports this. You need to talk to them, because their position is this is a great access point and we want to keep the kids safe. So if you're talking about extra maintenance costs, let's look at that. Maybe you don't have to keep it open in the winter. This is as weather's permitted. You're not maintaining the park now. So right now we have a township park. You're legally allowed to walk to that park whenever it's daylight. The kids can do that now. The high school has their property. They're saying they still have a gate open. We've got Lopatcong Township saying kids can walk there. We got the high school saying, yeah, access our property to this point. Where's the disconnect? Vehicles is one thing, but we're talking about kids walking and getting there safe. So I really want to take that into consideration when we're looking at what is the best interest of our kids. This is an open facility for them to walk on. It's a legal way for them to access and walk on our property. And the school is saying, yeah, use that point. Let's keep them away from the intersection. There's something happening here. The correct conversations aren't happening. And I think our concerns are probably a little bit exaggerated as to wanting to separate the two properties. We shouldn't be enemies with Phillipsburg. And if something comes on down the road where there's vandalism or cars are abusing that road, we'll shut it down for car use. If it's coming a vandalism problem, we'll do a little fob card so that only Lopatcong students can access it. Only Lopatcong access it. There's ways to do this, but to shut it down from the beginning because you're nervous, you're nervous about the maintenance costs. It's not the right reason. So I appreciate, I hope that you let Paul look into this and let's find out where is that gate actually located so we can have the next conversation.
If we had the sidewalks built and all that they were supposed to be built, you'd have less of an issue.
But honestly, there's grants out there too. If we move on this quick enough, we can get a grant to do minor improvements. If you think you needed $3,000 of improvements, to add an extra 20 feet of sidewalk, whatever, you can get a grant for that. There's grants for this.
Paul knows all about the grants.
We're working on.
Was that not in part of the municipal agreement that there was nothing more evidence? They gave an emergency exit.
I don't have the agreement.
Which agreement, Jimmy? The real old, the one from 2000?
Whatever it was, I don't
Yeah.
recollect that being any more than a gated emergency exit in the event of a fire.
Yeah, but remember, that also had all these sidewalks to be built too.
Yes, you're right. Maybe needs to be updated, but keep one other thing in mind that I can speak to, that our maintenance shed is right inside that gate.
I know it. I
There's
saw
things in
it.
there that kids should not be getting into.
I'm sure you keep it locked.
We do keep it locked, but at that time of the day, they're
Talking
up there.
teenagers.
And then start at 7 a.m. So,
I'm saying you can't do it.
Are they being bused though? Does anyone know that yet? I thought, is there actually gonna be walkers? Because I've been hearing rumors, people.
Most of the kids are gonna be bused.
Right, so we're not gonna have a walker issue.
To be quite frankly,
The road that leads up to the school, I didn't see any sidewalks leading up to the school.
there are sidewalks.
There are.
Right through that gate, there is a labeled bike path. This bike path continues from our park to the high school property. It's labeled.
It's grass right now.
It's right there. It's what?
It's grass.
But there's a fence.
No, it's paved.
That's paved.
There's a paved
And
path.
it's labeled bike path.
But there's a fence separating our park from those.
That's good. That's what
Right.
we're looking at.
Right.
And that's what we need to look at.
The whole property is fenced, and that really
Right.
is temporary fencing that was put up
Right.
12, 13 years ago.
What will happen is, when people get wind of that,
Yeah.
you're gonna have all the sending districts dropping off their kids in that area,
Right.
into the pool area.
You
Parking
need,
lot.
you need to think about this realistically.
Well,
Sending
that is
districts-
realistic. That's
No,
what's
the
gonna
real-
happen.
I don't want to cut you off, but the reality of it is the sending districts are getting busted. That's
Yeah.
the reality of it.
But not everybody was buzzed.
Nick could go on the bus with sketches and cut it, and it took up too much room. It's spot. And drop off, or had to be there too early, or too late, then you're good.
Right, but we're talking about sending districts that.
Yeah, I get lost.
Well, I think we should let the school open up and let them handle their issues, and let's address it at a later time. I don't think we need to do everything all at once. Let's see how
I can
things.
tell you if there's a problem up there, it will not be from a lack of planning
Right.
on the school board side. We're not, trust me, I'm sure it won't be perfect.
Right.
But
Let's let it open and see how it flows and go from there. But to throw something in the mix now,
something new for everybody.
So in that argument, if the high school wants to open up the gate, they open it up and let's see what happens.
no, they need permission from Lopat. That's not.
It's their gate. They don't need permission.
It's our property.
No, it's not.
They're opening it up into our property. So yeah, there would have to be a discussion. It can't be a one-way decision. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right, let's have that discussion. The first year is going to be the most critical with the intersection improvements not even being completed.
The intersection is on target. We just.
Not the sidewalk improvements.
Okay, well, I think we'll have to finish this at our next meeting.
I think Paul should determine where the proper, or whose property that gate is on. I think that's a very simple request, and in order to have the next conversation, that's the question right now.
I'm pretty sure it's on the high school's property.
I don't think they would have put
Pretty sure
a
it's
gate.
good enough.
Well, I don't think they would have put a gate
They
on
would put a gate.
Lopatcong's
They wouldn't
property.
put the fence on our property.
I'm almost 100% sure it's on
People's.
Yeah. I
And
think
plus,
that-
they have a,
the line that was there.
they have a hut there as well with equipment, don't they? Right there on their side. So they have a shed with, as well with equipment there. So, yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
I don't know if we came to a final thing on it. I still think it's an open issue that we still have to explore. So I would like, Paul, if you could just ask the superintendent,
Okay.
now that we understand the principal is in favor of this, and bring it to that next step, and then we'll decide here whether or not we can afford to run a plow in there once in a while. We'll just make it weather permitting. And take some pressure off that gate. Okay?
Yes,
Okay.
take care of that.
What else we got? Any other department reports? No, good. Payment of
Motion
bills.
to approve department reports.
Oh, motion to approve department reports.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
How about all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
People are getting punchy up here. All right, we have a bill list.
Before you introduce that, I have to abstain on one bill, 2998, the amount of 2971, that's J&T bill. I'll be voting on the rest of the bill list.
Okay.
Abstention
The
on
record
that.
will reflect your abstention on that particular matter. Okay, we have a bill list, which is in the amount of $1,263,306.17. I think I got this when I sat down here, so I haven't had a chance to review it. but assuming it's in good order, and we have now paid the Board of Education, I'm very happy. All right, I make a motion that we approve the bill list.
Motion.
Second, anyone?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Belterro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Fryer.
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Okay, audience participation. Motion to go into audience participation.
Motion.
I don't know if anyone's got the energy to say anything. Wait, no, we didn't do the whole thing. We have to do a second. And then an all in favor. Second, anyone?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Enthusiasm. Juna.
Okay, just quickly, since I'm still in my scout uniform, I don't know if anybody's left in the room. Lopatcong Cub Scout Day Camp is going to be the weekend of July 18th to 22nd. You may know that I'm the director. If you have kids or grandkids, or you know anybody who's got scouts in the community, let me tell you, not to toot my own horn, but our camp is an awesome camp. Brian, you've seen us in action over there, and scouts from all over come out to join us. So sign up and join your kids as a volunteer, because it's a great experience, a very inexpensive camp. Also, Brian, maybe at some point you can show me the area of the road that you said is flooding during the storms. Maybe I can come up with some different plans. Yeah, I'll touch base with you at some point, because I'd like to see that, because as you all know, we're working with Chris Abrupta out of Rutgers on a watershed management plan, and we can integrate a lot of different projects and different mitigation procedures into that. So if there's an opportunity I can have to help the community fix something, I'll do it.
Grants, get lots of grants.
Grants, well, I mean, the grants are already there. I'm here to help match them with the community so you can make use of them. So I'd like to see that. And lastly, everybody get out on March 8th and definitely support that referendum for our kids. I would greatly appreciate it, and so would my children and all of the other families in the community. So I hope everybody gets out there, encourages their friends to do the same. Thank you. Juniper, speaking of grants, I forwarded to Beth, and I think she forwarded to the Shade Tree Commission. There's a grant about tree saplings or something, all these free things you can get. I know one other town said they did it and they didn't quite like it, but I asked her to send it on to the Shade Tree, so.
We did that last year.
Yeah, there was a time
Donna
where
did
they
that.
debated it last year. I know one town had a lot of problems. It's hard because Shade Tree has it. You need to plant them right away, and you get, so I think the one year they had them extra when Donna was a liaison at that point.
Yeah.
And then Lee Wazicki was on the committee last year, but they decided not to do it because you end up getting a lot. But I don't know the information, so if you send it to me, I can pick through it and see if we can do something with it, because the Environmental Commission might be able to do a tree planting on some public land.
Any that are left can be planted in your yard. Be a forest. Brian?
I wasn't gonna do it, but I need to do it tonight because I need to talk to Paul, Joe, and Lou. If you remember back, I think it's peddlers, Paul. I know you're thinking there, Joe.
Yeah.
We had a problem with a lady's sewer. Goes back to your tree roots, Lou. And the blockage and different things.
Mrs. Ignat.
And we dug down.
Mrs. Ignat?
You got it. You got it. All right. Sewer lines don't travel the same as what we think when people tell us it's 50 feet. Well, sewer lines go this way, and every other direction. It doesn't run straight out of your house. Okay, so we don't go right out. We throw that out of the water. It don't exist. The only access, which we learned on that thing, was the person's toilet. Okay, their cleanouts in their house. All right, that's why I believe, and I'm asking, I guess, that it was changed. We had some things that took place that there was rules that were put in place that if it was clogged in any fashion, the only access was inside their house. All right, we can't dig down 20 feet. You know what I mean?
She had a clean out outside the window.
But they're not all going to have that. Okay, I'll tell you right now, my own personal one doesn't open up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only access you have, let's say on, I don't care if it's one, okay? Are we going to have Chapman? So I know which way we're going to go and tell the public here. Are we going to have Chapman every time somebody tells us that there's a possibility their footage goes into our road, that it's ours?
No.
Okay, well, how do I, because I get asked that all the
The
time.
company went in there with a camera, it's about 88 feet from the house.
How do they know where the pipe runs? Is what I'm trying to share with you. How do they know where that pipe runs? Because the one over there on Peddlers ran, everybody thought it ran straight out. Meanwhile, it went out here and came over that
You
way.
can see it then with a TV.
Are we
They
going to take the
they
liability
TV
in
that.
somebody's home, is what I'm trying to ask you here? Because I need to just know how you're going to sell this to the
Well,
public.
this lady, she has her own insurance with a sewer line, so they came out and they put a camera down there. So if the homeowner's gonna do that, they have to send a camera at their expense, right?
Well-
And then to see where the problem is, and if it falls into the street line, it's obviously.
That's not the way the rules were understanding at that point. I don't know where we
It's
changed
in the
it.
rules and regs. I'd have to look at it again.
Ours,
But I think they have to
broken
do,
pipe.
they have to do the first investigation. If it's in the street, they can get reimbursed, and that's happened.
Okay, so how do you want me to move forward with the public at this point?
Each one will be on an individual base.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get nailed. Because there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of them that have it wrong. All right? And you're going to do a lot of investigations. You're going to do a lot of things. The way we always did it for as long as I've been here, right after that issue over there on Peddlers, let's say, I think it was Peddlers joining away, okay, was we maintained the main, okay, and they maintained the branch unless it was broken from the curb to the main.
And that's true.
All right,
Still
not
true.
not a route, because a route is something they come in from their side and road route
Root
out.
can come in from any place. Can
Well,
come
it's
up
cleaning a
from
pipe, is
across
what I'm
the
trying to
street.
get at.
And the other problem is roots don't break pipes. They come in the defects.
Yeah, yeah,
And that was the logic.
right.
Um,
So how do you want me to address it, is what I'm asking?
Well, and forgive me for, I'm going back,
Go ahead, Alan.
you know, the idea is you go out and you look in the street, you pull the manhole upstream, downstream. If the thing's flowing, it's back to them.
Okay,
They get a plumber. If they find a problem in the street, then they can come back to us. But we don't do the
Okay,
first
I'm-
investigation of the house connection.
I'm going to show you an exact one, all right? Right over on Charles Road, all right, off Red School Lane, first two houses in.
Mhm.
The guy swore up and down it was in our road. Cambered it, everything. You know where it ended up being? 2 feet under the sidewalk. Were we going to go out and rip our road apart?
Well, no,
And then go 2 feet back in there?
the way
Or are we
it's
gonna have
written,
him do his
it's within the right of way, the way it's written now. The right of way, not the curb.
I will do anything you choose, anything you want. It's just I need to know, I want you to tell me how you want me to address the
Right of
public.
ways vary.
No, they're basically 50 feet,
Okay,
but
what
the
is that?
thought at the time was if you go into Brakely, if you go into Delaware Crossing, you go into Warren Heights where it's public street, there's a lot of utilities under the sidewalk. It's electric, cable, telephone, other utilities.
Right, but we don't have that here. We have just,
Well, you got a mix here, you know.
as far as I know, there's no
And
sewer
so at
except
the
for theirs
time,
under the sidewalks.
well, the house connection's gonna cross all these utilities.
Right, the lateral.
It was written originally within the right of way. It was discussed about narrowing that to the curb line, but it was never changed.
Do we agree with that when Steve did that, Beth? Did we do something? Because remember he dug down like, I don't know how many feet it was. I mean, I can show you the package, it's still there. All right, and there was something that took place that we said we would never dig our road up again without, because we have no access. And it ended up being, and after they cambered it, they did everything. It ended up being on their property. But we pocketed how many thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars?
The way things have been written for 40 years, and they weren't written that way here. Usually, every house connection requires a clean out 2 feet with it inside the curb, and the town
Yeah,
maintains
they don't
from
have
the
that.
clean out to the street.
That's not,
In Lopat, it was never done that way. Even in Brakely
I will
Park, which
do
came in
this.
73, it wasn't done that way.
if you can give me a cut and dry, but until this point, I will call you, Lou, since you're just in charge of sewers, and you can direct me where you think we should go at that point.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Well, it starts with the homeowner first.
Well, I'll do my legwork. I mean, I'm not gonna just call you to call you. I mean, if I feel there's something that needs to go a little further, I'll just let you in on the loop and we'll talk.
We might have to update the rules and regs, and we'll
Yeah,
revisit.
because we have no access to anything.
No, I understand that.
You know what I mean?
Lopat was
Yeah.
behind the times there.
And I just worry that we're gonna go in and if we break their toilet or we break something that's not a clean out, we're gonna pay for that. And they're gonna need a whole harmless agreement every time they go in on it. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Well,
Same subject, but just to make sure I'm clear. Who are the present rent loving board members that have been picked? Jim and Gucci.
and Gucci and the lady, I loaded Huff that
How do you spell her name? Do you know?
H-U-F.
No, the first name.
L-O-I-D-E-T.
L-O-I-D-E-T-H. All right.
Not a very common.
And then the other thing is in the meantime, is there somebody to contact if the tenants want to know if their rents are correct?
Mr. Mengucci.
Mr. Mengucci, all right. And the other thing is I'd ask that as soon as possible, the rent loving board as soon as possible, I wish the rent loving board would have a meeting as soon as that's possible.
Mr. Mengucci will call for the meeting. I will
And
get
that'll
you
be
the
fine,
contact
too.
information.
That's what I thought, and that's still gonna be held. Okay.
All right, that answers the questions I forgot.
March 17th, St. Patrick's Day? Oh, my gosh.
It'll be quick.
All right. Thank you. So I'll put some green water on the days.
Help yourself.
As much as it pains me, I think I have to adjourn this meeting.
No, you got one more.
Pain us.
Just
Yeah,
one.
we're done. What?
Somebody left.
You have
One hand.
I didn't see her. I'm sorry.
It's really hot in here. As far as the security cameras, I think it's good that you're actually keeping them, just because, I mean, we don't know what happened in Greenwich, and Brian had already made the point that there's a lot of expensive equipment, but I mean, who knows what happened in Greenwich, if it was an accident or whatever, but at least the cameras, they'll be able to see, but at the same time, like, yeah, everything's outside. We don't want anything stolen. For the rain barrels, I wasn't sure, and Juniper left. I know the council's paying for them, but are the people who are going to be using them purchasing them from us, or are we giving them out as gifts, and how would that be?
I heard
It's
it.
gonna cost
I heard that they were gonna be donated. That was what I heard from Juniper.
the barrels
Barrels,
donated
yeah.
from Coca-Cola.
Right.
Then you take all the pipes and build the thing so you can use it, right?
Because I think the cost would have to be passed on to the people, so it's fair for the taxpayers, whatever it is.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that was one of their plans. They were worried that there would be, somebody would say you can't do that, but if they can do that, then they would be glad to.
So they're gonna sell these rain barrels, right?
Yeah, get with you.
Get what, okay.
Well, the council wasn't paying.
They're recommending one for each downspout.
I think so,
The
yes.
council would pay
Foundation,
approximately $500
Downspout.
Yeah.
for these downspouts.
For the
They're getting
downspouts.
diverters and
Well, you
things like
start out
that,
with one.
so you can install them.
I think you
What do
just
you
have
wish
to
you
pass
for?
that cost on to whoever's getting it, so it's fair.
That would, it would all be, you'd probably even get a profit out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing with the yoga instructor, if you do have that, we
We
pay the Zumba instructor, and then people pay us to come to the class. I think that's the legal way to handle it, instead of, I don't think we can raise donations for somebody at a township, does it? The yoga instructor, what we do with Zumba at the pool is that Beth pays the Zumba instructor through the grant. There's a grant for this program, yeah. But then people pay to do Zumba.
Well, I question that they wanted the church to donate the space.
Right.
The girl would come in and teach yoga. They would pass the hat, and the instructor would leave with the hat
Oh, okay.
under the wellness program, and that sounds like a strange.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that.
They're doing it in that fashion.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. As far as the December minutes, I don't think they passed, because Joe can't vote on them, right?
He was here at the meeting.
He was here at the 30th, but not the other one, right? The 14th?
I was Well, I might have been here at the 14th. I was not on council.
Right.
Can they be posted?
Well, the vote will be recorded and they'll be posted.
They'll be posted, okay, all right. As far as, there were some other things, they mostly were related to some of the things that Donna had said. So she made a comment about the LAA. I just wanted to clear that up, considering how much I've put into the LA over the years, not as a council person, but as a parent. I had lunch with Mayor Steinhardt before I was on council, and he asked me a question. He said, what about Lopat do you love the most, or what's your fondest memories? And I told him it was having my kids on the field, cheering, playing football, playing basketball. That's why he gave me the LAA. Aside from a joke, he said, yeah, it's pretty funny because, you know, you're really into it, but at the same time, like, they're the biggest pain in the neck board we have. But he didn't do it in spite, contrary to what Donna mistook my my comments for. He gave it to me because I had expressed to him prior to being on council how much the LAA had meant to me. And to what Maureen was saying, I'm sorry that he didn't talk to her, but everybody was talked to. And we even talked to him about switching some things in the beginning. I think the resumes too. I mean, we didn't get the resumes for the last DPW people. No. So the only other thing was the technology. I know over in Phillipsburg, they just got the iPad things, and we have a social media policy that answers all the questions that were brought up here tonight. Like maybe if you had the iPads here, you guys could look it up like during the meeting, because there is a set procedure for putting things on the website. And so I always got approval from Beth, and everybody who sent something, it went through Beth. You know, Brian, Rachel, everybody, you know, there is a policy. It isn't a dictatorship. But I don't know if you want to consider that, because maybe it'll alleviate some confusion up here, like.
You know, the Robert's Rules is that thick, and the municipal code is that thick.
Yeah.
And we got resolutions that thick, and you just can't sit here and access everything.
No.
So I don't know if there's a better way to do it. Maybe we should.
Because I know that's what Phillipsburg was looking at. I don't think the cost, it takes a lot of paper to make up the cost of $3,000, but I think it might help because you can kind of be interactive and look at that. So, thank you. Have a good night.
Jimmy?
Let's adjourn.
Jim?
I just want to say one thing in regard to what Lori brought up about Don's comments. Mayor Steinhardt did in fact discuss our departments with us. If there was no discussion over the years, it's because we were together for 12 years. So after the third or fourth year, we just kept our department. So she said there was no discussion. She may have been somewhat right, not because he didn't ask, he always asked. And obviously, we had former Mayor Baker up there with the requirements of basically the fire department. Buildings and grounds is what I handle for the school district, so why wouldn't we give you buildings and grounds? A lot of it was just common sense. That's what we operated on for 12 years, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, I took in over time things that people didn't want. You didn't want to be on substance. You didn't want to be on finance committee. You wanted to be on finance committee, and you got that. So, I mean, I did it in that fashion. I didn't sit down with each person and say, what would you like to do?
Initially, that did happen when the mayor sat down with each of us.
Yeah.
When he came on, a lot of us were already in place. So he did ask us, but like I said, we were there for 12 years.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we put it in a resolution, straighten it out. So it's clear.
Hello, Eric Johnson, 361 Stony Heights. I want to thank everybody for entertaining the fact that we were having a conversation, an open conversation here on a pretty important issue for some people. So thank you for that. It wasn't public comment time, but you did it anyway. And that was really good, so I appreciate it. And just to follow up on it real quick, because Jim mentioned something really quick, which is important. I think Paul should also look into the developers agreement? Whatever agreement that might be out there that says they are supposed to maintain that fence, because that's an important part of the next conversation also. Jim, what did you call it?
There was a local agreement.
Interlocal agreement
in 2000.
In year 2000,
Okay.
yeah.
So I was saying, look, you check that out too, and that would.
You know, I did read that. There's stuff in there about sidewalks and bike paths and some other things, and I don't know where or how that
So on
disappeared.
that map, a lot of it.
I don't remember a discussion of fence, to be honest with you, but
Maybe
I missed it.
as Paul's looking into it, if you could just check out that agreement. real quick if you could possibly get our hands on it, just to see if it does. Because if it does mention something about that, that is really important to know. So that was all I just wanted to add.
Computer.
All right, thank you.
Tomorrow.
Okay, great.
You have one more? Yep. Come on down.
I just have two real quick things. Tim Weiss, 701 Strikers Road. It's an embarrassment for me. I've been in public safety for 38 years at the local level, the county level, and the state level, and to be talking about an access road at Overlook again is an absolute waste of municipal resources. And if you're going to do an access road there, then we have to look at access roads in every dead-end street in this town and every complex, private complex out there that has one road in and one road out. It's a waste of our money and it's a waste of our time. And I would strongly suggest as a taxpayer that we don't look at that. The only other thing that I want to say is because there is someone here who's a member of the Board of Education, if the board is going to be sending out a message over their communicator to the people that send children to the schools to get out and vote for the referendum, I would strongly suggest as a taxpayer that they send that message out to all of us. Because the system that they're going to use to send that message out, we've all paid for. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Well, then you don't have the right system.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.